5 minutes after 6 a.m. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nachum Siegel. Welcome to a Thursday. This is your Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program. And here we are on day 2 of this amazing and incredible Israel adventure that began with Nefesh B'Nefesh and the amazing flight and an incredible reaction by the worldwide Jewish community to our unbelievable, and I say that with such emphasis because it is hard to believe when we do a radio show from a plane. But in fact, sure enough, we were there on the El Al Dreamliner with all those hundreds of olim, an incredible number of children, and a wonderful journey with Nefesh B'Nefesh. Here we are. Miriam Al-Wallach is with me. Yoni Pollack is with me. And we are in Latrun. Why? Because Yome NCSY 2018 is taking place here at the Latrun Tank Museum. I have never done a radio show from Latrun. I am counting this among the, thank God, amazing things we've been able to do over the years. To be here at this historic place and something that has become such a landmark for the state of Israel and the Jewish people around the world is incredible. And behind us, as you can see on video, those who are watching on video, behind us is an amazing stage all set up for Yom NCSY with incredible screens, amazing performers, both Shlomo and Eitan Katz, and we are getting ready to pay tribute to the NCSY summer programs by greeting over, 1,600, 1,700 NCSYers who are going to be here tonight. Miriam Al-Wallach, welcome back to JM in the AM.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. A yeoman's effort by you. It's an exhausting journey, to say the least.
Yeah, the driving is the hardest part.
Well, I don't know about that. I think staying awake and doing all the shows might be the hardest part for everybody involved. But
it's
anyway,
all good. Thank God.
Thank God it is all good, and we have an unbelievable venue. What's your first impression of this incredible venue as we speak to our listeners this morning?
It's humbling. It's humbling, and each year I feel like David Cutler and his entire team try to outdo themselves or try to wow us in a way that they haven't before. And they succeed every single time. I mean, we're in Latrun. The history here, the pedigree here is not something that we can just, brush aside. It's incredible. And so to bring all of these, do we call them campers at this age? Do I call participants?
Yeah, I would say campers. Okay. Participants is actually a good way of referring to them.
So all of these participants and the parents and the people who have signed up and the onlookers, everyone who is joining us this evening, though we are airing this program in the morning, Thursday morning, it is taking place Wednesday evening. You can hear, by the way, the sound checks going on in the background, which is always exciting.
It's exciting, and I start to worry about what we're going to be able to hear later on because these two
guys
are
not here.
These two guys are amazing, and their music is going to blow this place apart.
And also, David Cutler hires professionals who know how to deal with sound.
Right.
So they're going to sound good, and we may hear nothing, but that's okay.
Our listeners, I think, are used to that. We've done shows from Israel with NCSY especially where the background noise does dominate, but it adds to the excitement, and it really shows everybody through this audio means and through the video just how amazing a night it is here.
And to add to that, there's part 2 of our NCSY coverage. So anything you don't hear tonight, you'll hear tomorrow, you'll hear.
Right. And you know what's funny? What's funny is that one of the reasons that this has become a 2-show phenomenon, our association during the summer with NCSY, is because they have so many summer programs.
It's a gazillion
it's unbelievable how many programs there are to talk about, the uniqueness of each one. Leaders that you and I have been discussing for weeks are to be admired for their incredible work, real superstars. And we'll have a chance to speak to some of them coming up and to enjoy all of this. A lot of nachas the Jewish community is getting worldwide from programs like this. And we're here to document all of it and to really pay tribute to those who are working so hard to make sure these campers have great summers.
We also were privileged to be able to be participants at the leadership conference that took place at the end of April, where all of the leaders, all the trip leaders, and the madrichim, and the directors, etc., were all in one place. And you and I were stunned silent by the enormity of talent and leadership in that room.
By the way, now you see, not that you doubted it, but I'm just using you as a soundboard, now one sees why it was so important we were there that Shabbos.
Oh, 100%. As usual, David Cutler is right.
Yeah, because it's really enhanced, even though, again, people haven't shown up here yet. So, But I know it's going to enhance this evening because of that amazing backdrop that we got to what's happening during the summer of 2018.
Right. We were also, for two people who are, shall we say, sometimes cynical about cynical about many, many different things. It was so heartwarming to see that these are the future leaders of our people. And there's serious talent there. The future looks bright, and for good reason. And anyone who is involved in a David Cutler program is a home run.
Yeah, no question about it. And we and
it's top down, of course.
As or I should say, in my case, as I reach a certain age, you start comparing what it was like, a generation ago, so to speak. And we had a lot of talent in that generation, but the formal training that they are now getting is so remarkable, and it adds to their repertoire in terms of being leaders of these youngsters in the community. Sure enough, there's a group behind us right now.
Keep Alive.
Keep Alive. That is.
Isn't Keep Alive a cappella?
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
The nerve of them.
I know, the chutzpah.
Yeah.
Of course. We're kidding. We're kidding.
So they have this. They're part. I assume they're part of the program tonight, and they're doing their little rehearsal now.
Right.
Don't want anyone to think that the concert's actually begun.
No, because there's nobody here yet but us.
This is how they prepared.
Maybe Rabbi Benevitz made us have our own concert.
That could be.
That was very nice of you, Rabbi.
It's amazing how this. Between the lighting and the sound, they're doing quite a job.
Everybody on video, you're getting a behind-the-scenes look. This is really very cool.
So Yome NCSY has began about a half hour ago with the mega barbecue and the soon-to-be the mega event with musical guests Shlomo and Eitan Katz and others. We are saluting 19 life-changing programs in one unforgettable night. This entire arena is going to be filled with thousands of people, the majority of them participants in the NCSY summer programs.
What are you looking forward to the most tonight?
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to the most. I have a note that was written to us. Must be, 4 or 5 weeks ago. You'd know better than I. That says that on the night of Yome NCSY, give me a second.
Sure.
On the night of Yome NCSY, sometimes you look for a paper and you find it right away.
Yes, and then the other times.
Exactly. On Yome NCSY, look at this. We will announce 3 new programs for 2019.
Gosh. And, I was about to joke.
What is that, a 20% increase of that?
David Cutler has been instructed to continue to grow this exponentially. Yeah,
and he has a vision. He has a vision that really continues to put more and more innovative programs on the map for NCSY. Mm-hmm. So there are 19 programs right now. They're going to announce 3 new ones for next summer. That, I would say, will be one of my highlights tonight at Yome NCSY.
I'm looking forward to the big flag.
Yeah, the big flag. Where is that flag?
They already test drove the big flag. Last year it was really cool to watch this enormous Israeli flag basically travel across, right?
So it is doable. It's going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
The big flag experiment is going to work.
Does David Cutler do something that doesn't work?
That's true.
He's already mentally made it work.
We thank Yoni Pollack, our engineer here on the spot, and, of course, Rami ZK and everybody else who's involved in the show. We also want to thank our associate producer. Is that how we'll refer to her tonight?
Jamie?
No, not Jamie.
I'm kidding. Yes, Amy Moskow, by the way, she is the wind beneath my wings today.
Yeah, she's getting it all done.
She's wonderful.
And we thank her for that. And we should mention a couple other things. A big thank you to our friends at the Inbal Hotel. The Inbal, again, being very hospitable to us. It is possible that collectively the 3 of us will get a few hours of sleep. It's possible. But whatever the case is, that's where we're based. We're based at the Inbal Hotel in Jerusalem.
Yes, thank them again.
And we have so much to talk about regarding them. We will have a chance in the future. And a reminder that it's a big week for us here at the Nachum Segal Network and JM in the AM. Tomorrow, as you said, NCSY summer programs. We are going to be stopping by the Barkan Winery for a show tomorrow, which people will hear on the network during the live lunch slot. And, of course, Sunday is a day that we're all looking forward to, HASK Experience Day. And anybody out there wants to get us a shout-out for HASK on Sunday, just put the word shout-out HASK in the subject line and send it to Nachum at NachumSegal.com.
And we have your shout-outs, by the way, for Yome NCSY. We will get to them.
We have them here. We'll do them at some point later on.
Right.
You'll let me know when. All right?
I'll let you know when?
Well, don't you produce the show?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, so I will let you know when.
Keeping you on your toes.
Thank you. I would say keep alive is also keeping us on our toes.
They certainly are.
Yeah, they
All
are.
right, you want to take a music break?
Aren't we taking a music break?
Should we do that? Should we just stay with them?
Why not?
How does it sound, Yoni? They sound all right?
He can't hear a thing.
Go to the music. All right, we'll take this music break. Back with more coming up. You're listening to an amazing and incredible Thursday morning broadcast from Yome NCSY at Latrun in Israel, right here on JM in the AM.
Mashiach ben David, we need you. Yahweh B'Goleinu. Mashiach, Mashiach, where are you? We're all waiting for you. Mashiach ben David, we need you. Yahweh B'Goleinu. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleimo b'bi'as HaMashiach. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleimo b'bi'as HaMashiach. Ani ma'amin. Mashiach, Mashiach, where are you? We're all waiting for you. Mashiach ben David, we need you. Yahweh B'Goleinu. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleimo b'bi'as HaMashiach. Ani ma'amin. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleimo b'bi'as HaMashiach. Ani ma'amin. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleimo b'bi'as HaMashiach. Ani Mashiach, Mashiach, where are you? We're all waiting for you. Mashiach ben David, we need you. Yahweh B'Goleinu.
JM in the AM, Yehuda Green. Brand new. Album is called Neshamala. That's Mashiach here at JM in the AM. Before that, I finally was able to get my Soul Farm Come Back selection on. You know, we have a whole category of songs that are designated for Nefesh B'Nefesh and Israel. Did
Of
you know
course.
that? Did you know that? We have a
Of
whole
course.
category. So
Is
I
it
was
the same-
frustrated.
Is it the parade music also?
Very similar.
Okay.
So I was frustrated. When I got to say hi to Josh Brody. Josh Brody, I am so angry at this guy. You have no idea. Why am I angry at you? Tell everybody why I'm so angry at you. Come on.
Called first.
What is it?
at first in front of you at the head counselor.
No, what are you kidding me? I'm so angry at him because now he has two kids. Two kids living in Israel.
Wow.
Two kids who've made Aliyah. And I am so jealous. Where have I gone wrong that none of my children have
Do you
gone?
want to talk about this on the air?
They're all coming.
Have got over the
That's it.
Atlantic. He's amazing, this guy.
It's amazing.
The last time Josh was with us in official capacity was down in Boca, right? He was helping us down there in Boca Raton, Florida,
Where it all began.
where Nefesh all began.
And where it seems like our week began because there was so much of that on
it
the
was
flight.
Boca-centric.
Correct, and for good reason, and it's great. But it also brings me back to, we're looking forward to Shlomo and Eitan Katz.
Right.
But it reminds me of our mission during a very tense time here in Israel, where we were committed to bringing the Jewish Unity Initiative to Israel and to bringing Jewish music and unity to a variety of different places, including Tel Aviv, and including Shar Yafo, and including the Gush, where we had an unbelievable performance, an unbelievable, beautiful, inspiring performance at the Pinach Hama, and I thank him for that.
You know what's funny about the Pinach Hama show? I was thinking about this.
I hope we're going to be able to get them on the air.
I don't know. I don't know what the story is with their schedule. We'll see. You know what was interesting about the Pinach Hama show? Shlomo Katz, was performing. The concept basically was that he was performing for our audience back home, right? He was performing for our listeners, but at the same time, any soldier who showed up at the Pinach Hama in that hour would be able to have an encounter with Shlomo Katz.
Right. They get a cup of soup, a warm place to sit, and Shlomo Katz.
And it's sort of, when, we see this all the time on network television, it's sort of one of those things where, you're walking around Manhattan and you stumble upon, something that's being recorded. Right. And these guys who...
It's a Jimmy Fallon moment.
Correct.
Exactly.
These guys who are so, and young ladies who are so desperate for just, something hot to drink.
The comfort of home.
Right, or a little bit of rest, etc.
Right.
All of a sudden, wow, we're in the middle of a Shlomo Katz concert in Pinach Hama, which is really cool. So, yeah, that is a great memory and a wonderful recollection.
And we thank him for that because everyone who participated that week in our different shows was really a partner in our mission. And the Jewish Unity Initiative takes many different forms and goes to many different locations. And, the best is potentially yet to come.
Right.
But each one of them is significant and meaningful. And Shlomo was a part of that. Shlomo was a real part of that.
We're at Yome NCSY, everybody, at the Latrun Tank Museum here in Israel. We're going to meet some of the people who are key to NCSY and their summer programs coming up. A full lineup, a lot of community leaders from the United States who are visiting now, so they can be part of Yome NCSY, and others who are, leading each individual program. Tonight is also a special night because there's going to be a tribute for the TJJ program, which has been in existence for 20 years, back in 1998. Started, I think, with 30, they said, with 30 kids. And now, according to what we heard earlier today, I believe it's 11 bus loads, right? Or 12 bus loads for TJJ,
we'll find out, but
like
it's
that.
insane.
So that's one of the things we'll be doing here tonight. As we speak, everybody's in the back of the stage.
I love this song.
With a
Yoni, can you hear it?
With a wonderful barbecue and a mega dinner going on. Yoni's officially turned into a real chief engineer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's concerned with one thing, making sure we're on and making sure we are being recorded. Other than that, there's not much he's concerned about. And tonight we pay tribute to 19 life-changing programs on this one unforgettable night. Information at ncsy.org. And, of course, you can email summer@ncsy.org.
You're also a parent of former participants in Yom NCSY programs and now trip leaders.
Right. I'm thinking that two of my sons were on NCSY Kollel. One of my daughters is on Michelela. One of my daughters was on Give. One of my daughters is now a madricha on Give. So there's a lot of involvement in families like ours. There's a lot of involvement in these summer programs, and it's like it's almost expected that after 10th grade, the young people, the students, are going to come to Israel and spend the summer with NCSY. So I'm glad we had an opportunity in the Siegel family to enjoy that. And
we're about to find out which new 3 programs are being introduced that someone can now participate in. I mean, that's an additional, I don't know, is it 40 people? How many people on the bus?
Yeah, 40 each, I guess.
So it's another 120 spots in addition to the programs that are just going to continue to grow.
But we also don't know the nature of the program. You know what I mean? Because there are certain programs I don't think we as outsiders can assess the numbers because they're so unique. These internship programs they have, Rescue Israel programs they have, in terms of emergency medicine, all this stuff. So I don't even know for sure if it all goes by busload anymore. It looks like each and every one of these programs has a personality unto themselves.
True.
And therefore, depending on what the goal is and how things are being arranged, that determines how many kids are going to be part of the program. So there you have it. Yeah.
By the way, just as a side point, so that people can appreciate the planning that goes into Yom NCSY, the coordination of 19 different trips. I mean, these participants do not see each other otherwise, and they get together for one night, and then they get back on buses and disperse to different points in this beautiful, beautiful country. So the coordination of getting everyone in the same place at the same time, number one, is monumental. Number two, booking Latrun is not something that you can do a week in advance.
Right.
And, of course, if you ask David Cutler where Yom NCSY 2019 and 2020 will be, he'll tell you the date, and he'll probably tell you the location.
Did he say? I know you said the date. Did he tell us about the location yet? No, I don't think so.
I
think only the date was. Was there a discussion? Yoni's indicating There's some discussion.
Yes.
There's some backroom
Having
discussion
to
we need
do
to
with
find
a
out
pool.
about. Seriously?
Yeah, Brechad Sultan.
Wow.
Yeah, which we were excited about because then we would just roll out of the in-ball and show up at the show.
We could roll the equipment suitcase right down to the
Don't worry,
concert.
ZK, we're not actually rolling the equipment. Yes, we are.
All right, here we are. Nachum Siegel, Miriam L. Wallach. Lots of guests coming up. We're at Yome NCSY in Latrun in Israel. It's an annual opportunity to really pay tribute to the NCSY summer programs and speak to some people who have had and continue to have great effect on teenagers in the U.S. from North America during this summer. It's all coming up as we head back to the music, brand new music from Shlomi Gertner, and we continue here on a Thursday morning at JM in the AM.
Come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah, we're going somewhere. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there. Life is tough, times are rough, so much stuff is going on. Leave it to Hashem, He's the one in control. Tensions high, pressure rise, you can leave it all behind. Let a new dimension take hold. Feel a different beat, yeah. Springs under your feet, yeah. Troubles melt like snow. Let it go. Oh, hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah, we're going somewhere. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceiling, happy and free. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceiling, happy and free. Life is great, celebrate. Take the time to meditate. Nothing's gonna run away so easy, my friend. Find release, inner peace. Slow down the velocities. It's gonna be alright in the end. Feel a different beat, yeah. Springs under your feet, yeah. Troubles melt like snow. Let it go. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah, we're gonna be there. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceilings, happy and free. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceiling, happy and free, happy and free. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah, we're going somewhere. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceiling, happy and free. Ride on the feeling, break through the ceiling, happy and free. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah, we're going somewhere. Hey, everybody come along for the ride. Hey, are you really gonna stay inside? Yeah, put your hands in the air. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there.
Achol Mosayich Yerushalayim. Hivgadati shoymrim kol hayom v'chol halayla. Achol mosayim Yerushalayim. Hivgadati shoymrim kol hayom v'chol halayla.
Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishechad v'lev echad kol echad, we live on.
Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishachar v'lev echad kol echad, we live on.
Ahoy Mosayim, Yerushalayim, Hivgadati shoymrim kol hayom v'chol halayla.
Ahoy Messiah, Yerushalayim. Hivgadati shoymrim kol hayom v'chol halayla. Yerushalayim.
We're coming home to you.
Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishachar v'lev echad kol echad, we live on. Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishachar v'lev echad kol echad, we live on.
We're coming home, Yerushalayim.
We're coming home, Yerushalayim. We're coming home, Yerushalayim. We're coming home.
Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishachar v'lev echad kol echad, we live on. Home is where the heart beats from, and Yerushalayim's in our heart. Yishachar v'lev echad kol echad, we live on.
JM the AM, it's a Thursday morning, and that's Shalshelis, of course, with Coming Home. What better selection than that one? As we broadcast live from Yome NCSY, David Cutler, whose name's already been mentioned 400 times this morning, as the director of the NCSY summer programs, is here. Later on, we'll have an in-depth conversation about what's happening this summer, but it's great to be greeted by you here in Latroon, David Cutler.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. I'm confused. I don't know what time it is, but it's really awesome to be here. It's awesome to see you here. Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. So what do you think of the venue? This is the first time in Latroon. What are your impressions? Second time in
We were
Latroon.
here 3 years ago, so
Ah.
we actually came back here. It's great. Look, it's a very meaningful place with the Tank Museum here, and we can fit here. Baruch Hashem, we outgrew the last couple of venues that we used, and we're excited for the night. It's awesome. It's really, the energy here is buzzing, and we're very excited. Thank God.
I'm going to embarrass you for a moment
Uh-oh.
because we're on the flight, Nefesh B'Nefesh, flying in, speaking obviously with hundreds of people that are now moving from North America, and with what we were conversing with one of the Jewish leaders that has been shuttling back and forth between the U.S. and Israel, and he essentially gave all this credit, the 1,600, the 19 programs, this unbelievable explosion of Jewish youth having such meaningful experiences, he gave the credit to you. Said if you weren't in this position, it would not be nearly the same. So that's quite embarrassing, isn't it?
Wow, that is. I don't think it's true, but I certainly appreciate the compliment. And listen, The truth is we have an unbelievable staff who is Moser Nefesh all year round. This is not a 2-month job. Our staff in 11 Broadway, all of our regions around the country, and our parent company, the Orthodox Union, it's a labor of love all year round. We're starting pre-registration actually tomorrow for next summer. So it's by no means is a 2-month job, and it's a real team effort. Thank God. We're Baruch Hashem very blessed to have awesome people.
Simply incredible. All right, so we're going to have a chance later on. Miriam asked me on the air what's one of the things I'm looking forward to tonight, and I said this announcement that you had sent us by email that there will be an announcement of 3 new programs tonight for 2019.
God willing. So we're announcing 2 of them tonight because
Okay.
one of them we're not ready to launch yet because there's a special thing we're working on which we don't want to blow tonight, but we're announcing 2 of them tonight, and one of them is really cool. It's going to blow everybody away, so it's very cool. Thank
Looking
God.
forward to our conversation later on. Thank you, David Cutler.
You got it. Thank
Much
you, Nachum. We'll see you
appreciated.
later.
Thanks
You
for
got it.
welcoming
Thank
us
you.
here to Latroon at Yome NCSY. Yome NCSY, by the way, has a major musical component. Shlomo and Eitan Katz are going to be performing later on during this Yome NCSY program. Rabbi Greenland is with us. He's International Director of NCSY during an era that you could be very, very proud of when it comes to this organization. Rabbi Greenland, welcome back to JM in the AM.
Great to be here, Nachum.
I appreciate
and great to have
that.
you here.
Wonderful to be here and wonderful to be greeted by you. This is such a special night. I'm going to go back for a moment, and we're probably going to do this more than once tonight, to a Shabbaton in April, which we were encouraged to be at. And frankly, when we're invited to different events, we wonder, is it worthwhile being there, etc.? What will we gain from it and all that stuff? This was how do we put it? An NCSY leadership event? Would that be the right way of saying it?
A staff training event,
Staff
certainly.
training event. So I'm there as an observer, as is other members of my staff. And what do we see under that roof in the hotel in Connecticut? We see an unbelievable collection of talent. Not to put down your predecessors who worked really hard in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc., to get to this point. They all worked very hard and really were skilled in what they did. But the formal training and the incredible degree-type regiment, that's the way I put it, that your staff and your leaders are now going through is remarkable. And I think all of this started from there.
No question. That's the. I appreciate you noting the predecessors, and we really build on the success that's been accomplished by many others. But there's no question that the degree to which we've been successful on the ground with the teens. This 1,600 teens in NCSY summer this summer is because of the dedication of a staff that in the summertime is mostly volunteer.
Right.
And the fact that they're prepared, many of them are there for 4 days, 96 hours of training over a long weekend in April or May before the summer begins. They're so dedicated, thinking about these teens before they've even met them.
A couple of months before.
A couple of months before is really is I would say you're correct. That is the prelude to what leads up to the main events of the last several weeks and that continue over the course of the summer.
And some listeners might ask themselves, especially in the older generation, is it possible to formally train these young people to do this? After all, when we think of NCSY or youth work, we think of, someone with this natural ability to connect, and you don't really need training, so to speak. But this formal training program now we see gives all of those who do have a basic instinct of being able to work with youth an unbelievable regimen to continue and to really do great at their job.
Unquestionably, and there are so many dimensions to it that in 2018 you have to consider that
Right.
that we didn't have to consider when we were growing up.
So many, what do we call them? Appendix A, Appendix B, et cetera, all these different things.
Correct.
They need to know.
There's just on the code of conduct
Right.
and policy side that all of our staff needs to be conversant in. Not to mention all of the basic things that you may think come as second nature. How to interact with a kid in a healthy way where you're forming a bond, forming a relationship that God willing will be lifelong and will spill over to the rest of the year. But at the same time, you're doing it in a way that maintains an appropriate boundary. There's so much that goes into that sort of training considerations that unfortunately generations ago were not taken as seriously.
And one other thing, by the way, when we say formal, the program is so much more formal now. And again, not to belittle the way things worked back then, but today every minute of the day throughout the entire summer, and every one of these programs is accounted for. And there's a reason why we're visiting here or working on this Chesed project or hearing from this speaker or experiencing this part of Israel, et cetera, et cetera. It's really just every piece of it is thought of in advance and implemented.
One thing that always stands out to me, and I interacted with some of our staff people this morning who just drove this point home, is that as tightly choreographed as the entire summer is, and it really is, like you just said, planned out minute to minute to minute, but the staff people, obviously, they're prepared to scrap on a moment's notice. Anything if the program doesn't lend itself to the mood of where the teens are, or the specific context lends itself to calling an audible, as we would say,
pivoting, right?
That pivoting, they're prepared to do that, and they're looking at chunks of a week at a time, 48 hours at a time, the next 12 hours at a time, and saying, as choreographed as we are, does this still make as much sense today as it did 7, 8, 12 weeks ago when it was drawn up? And if it in many cases it does, obviously. If it doesn't, then they're prepared to innovate in the moment.
That's one of their. That's one of the things they get in training, right? Rabbi Greenland's here, International Director of NCSY. Are there a lot of repeat leaders here tonight?
No question. That's part of
a lot. Right?
That's part of how we've been so successful. Is that I think
these slots are easy to fill, huh?
Well, we just had a board meeting a few minutes ago where we had this precise conversation, that how is it that we went from in the 1200s last summer to over 1600 this summer, and there's no drop off in quality. Right. That doesn't even make sense. That we're growing by 25-30% and not having a drop off in quality of the teen or of the staff.
Right, and a lot of people would hesitate, by the way. Organizations would hesitate to grow at that speed because of that very reason, because of quality. So where am I going to get the people as good as we've had before?
No question. And our chairman of the board, actually, Avi Katz, was the one who noted that this growth in summer has been commensurate with growth elsewhere in NCSY,
right.
That we are reaching 25 to 30% more teens. We are engaging in our high-impact programs, 25 to 30% more teens. So the fact that summer is growing along with that means that the whole program, our fundraising has grown over that same period of time by the same percentage, and it's allowed us, thank God, to be able to engage staff people in a way where, of course, we have to bring in new people, but there is a high degree of carryover. Thank God, so many people who are dedicated to this work.
Tell me about the synthesis that you're going to observe later tonight. A lot of public school youth, a lot of yeshiva youth, a lot of what we would call our, yeshiva league youth in day schools, or I should say yeshiva high schools in the New York area and other areas of the country, of course. I mean, and yet this cohesive group seems to all come together in one big musical experience tonight.
It's really, I think it's Klal Yisrael at its finest. It really is. From every spectrum, co-ed programs, single-gender programs, the public school students, kids who received their first pair of tefillin with us this summer.
And listeners don't realize that public school youth is a significant percentage. We're not talking about 10% here. We're talking about, what, close to 40, 50 in that area? 30, 40, 50, whatever?
Correct. Of the 1,600,
right.
It's almost 700 that are from public school.
Wow. So there you go. That's 40% right there.
Right.
It's amazing. And that's who's going to be here tonight. And, yes, some of them did receive their tefillin
that was just a few weeks ago, and it's remarkable to see the sense of unity that is going to be on display here tonight. The sense of we are all one people, we are all one nation, we are all celebrating the land of Israel, the state of Israel, the people of Israel, and doing so together with such with such a sense of it doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from. We are all one people. Klal Yisrael needs a heck of a lot of that on an ongoing basis, and we just don't have it, and that's what we're building here in NCSY.
Now, I'm sure we'll have this conversation later with TJJ, but between me and you, the percentage of public school youth who've never stepped foot in Israel before this summer is also significant, right?
Now, as all the demographic studies have shown, that engagement among the non-Orthodox communities in the United States is with the state of Israel has been on a decline for some time, right. and the fact that we're able to continue to grow, bring more of those very same public school teens that the rest of the American Jewish community is scratching their heads and saying, woe is us, what's going to be with the future of American Jewry and their engagement with the state of Israel. I mean, we believe, I think, with appropriate balance of confidence and humility, that we have something to say about the answer to that question. And that is exactly what we're doing here this summer, having so many public school kids who their very first experience with the state of Israel is visiting this land here together with our staff, with their peers, is part of what makes this celebration so special.
And to your point about non-Orthodox Jewry in America, there's a good percentage of them whose parents never stepped foot in Israel. They have never been there, and yet they somehow either convinced or blessed by their parents to come and enjoy this.
No question. And that's part of how the hand in glove of NCSY, the fact that we have summer experiences that work in tandem with our year-round experiences. We even outlawed the term follow-up in NCSY because it's not.
It's a year-round thing.
It's a year. It's not. You're not following up. It's relationship continuance. That is what we're doing, working with these teens year-round. So a kid in a public school that comes to an NCSY-sponsored Jewish Student Union after-school club interacts with the staff person there and says, I like you. I like what you're about. Oh, and you're staffing an Israel trip in the summer? That's exactly where I want to be this summer.
So tonight may have started, what do you call the Starbucks program when you guys...
Latte and learning.
Yeah. So that may have started a Starbucks somewhere or anywhere in the United States.
Unquestionably.
And those programs just continue to flourish. It's amazing what goes on all through the year. We shouldn't, with you here, we shouldn't only talk about the summer because it's incredible what goes on all year round. And your regions, I know many of them are just getting stronger and stronger around the country. Which must be amazing.
Thank God, a remarkable year of growth for us. We achieved unprecedented levels of teens reached. Over 28,000 teens in North America came to NCSY programs this past year. We have a definition of impact, which is our higher impact programs or our frequent flyers. 9,400 teens this past year, which is also unprecedentedly high. And it's just, I feel so blessed because we have just the greatest team working together in the world.
Now, this is really going to get you in trouble with certain regions, but I'll put you on the spot. Give me a couple of regions to watch. Where in the United States have things really flourished in the last 12 months?
So I'm particularly excited about what's going on in Southwest, which is a region on the rise for a number of years. We had a program effectively in Dallas, but nowhere else in that part of the world.
And it's moved west. It's moved west from Texas.
Correct. I mean, the fact that we're in our Southwest region encompasses Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Denver as well. Stretch your definition of Southwest.
Well, NCSY's always done that with their regions.
Exactly, and the remarkable growth of that Southwest part of the United States in the last 12 months has been phenomenal to see. Where just a few years ago there were maybe 200 kids active. And this past year was over 1,000.
And those watching demographics among the Jewish community in the United States can learn from NCSY because when Florida grew, it was as a result, I should say as NCSY Florida grew as a result of the Jewish community growing there. Certainly Vegas and those areas, the same thing. And now, as you just mentioned, those areas of the Southwest United States are enjoying the same type of growth.
Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, those are growing areas. In
Houston, Texas, Yoni Pollock areas.
Economies and their Jewish communities as well.
Rabbi,
that's one.
That's one to watch.
One to watch. One for the next year is right in your backyard in New York. The NCSY has been in the hinterlands since our beginning.
Right.
In the next 12 months, I think you're going to see an expansion of programs right in what you call the backyard of JN Minyaim.
Five boroughs?
In the 5 boroughs, in Long Island, in Westchester. That is the biggest Jewish community in North America, and yet it's not the biggest region in NCSY.
Right.
And we feel that those kids need NCSY just as much as the kids in the hinterlands do. And looking forward to seeing an explosion, God willing, over the next 12 to 18 months.
I look forward to our follow-up on that. Thank you for the greetings. Enjoy tonight. Rabbi Greenland, International Director of NCSY. Mazel tov on this amazing accomplishment.
Amen. Such a pleasure always.
I appreciate that. There we go. Rabbi Greenland is taking great pride, to say the least, in what's happening here at Yome NCSY. Well, Rabbi Greenland, of course, gets a big hug from my next guest. I guess my hug will be coming at some other point, I assume.
No, it's going to come.
Yeah, right now, on video, on audio. Rabbi Noam Weinberg is here. He's the director of Jolt Israel. He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth.
Feelings are mutual.
Thank you. That's so nice of you. But in addition to being one of my favorite people on planet Earth, he has other designations. In this case, the director of Jolt Israel. Still spending your school year on Long Island?
I am.
How's it going? What
Great.
in
Principal of
in
North Shore
Shore
Hebrew Academy. Yep, high school.
Doing well over there, huh?
Baruch Hashem.
Do you have North Shore students who are enjoying the summer in Israel?
I actually do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 students with me this year.
Meaning your own students who
My
are,
own
who are on
students,
your
that's
program.
That's correct.
Right, but there are others, I assume, that
Yeah.
are enjoying
And
other
a bunch of-
NCSY
yeah, absolutely,
programs. So.
100%. Yeah, they're loving it.
This whole night is amazing. You and I have had conversations, God knows how many times, about extracurricular education, experiential education, call it what you want. And this whole summer is one big experience like that,
Yeah.
and adds so much. In general, we know what summer camp does for a kid.
Absolutely.
And we know how important it is for their growth and education, but this whole experience with Israel, with being away from home, with being with other people from different parts of the country, it must just be remarkable to watch.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And, you know, one of the things for me, I guess that give me the biggest feedback on Nefesh is that when it actually translates into the way that the kids behave, not in terms of being appropriate, inappropriate, but just in terms of the way that they comport as individuals, the way that they take in the information. And when we see it most clearly is when we run our camp, which is really fantastic. We actually did something a little bit different this year.
Yeah.
We worked with siblings of children that have chronic disabilities.
They're doing this on a regular basis?
So we did it for a week and a half
Wow.
in Tispin. And the reason why it was so important is because a lot of these kids who their siblings are chronically ill may look regular and may be fun. Some have diabetes, some have other issues, but the family spends so much time on the children, and the siblings have such a hard time navigating that. And we give them a week and a half of love and attention, and they just eat it up. It's the
What
most
are the
amazing
first
thing.
couple of days like?
So it's actually pretty tough, and we do a lot of work with our NCSYers, our Jolt Israel kids, leading up to that. There's a lot of anxiety that they have, and it's understandable. You know, they're all clutching their phones for the first 24 hours. On the phones with their parents. Sometimes parents have to come to sit with them for a little bit. But we work with them in a way, and we kind of structure the dynamic in a way that we make them forget, and we just have them focus. And by the way, what's so amazing about that is after a day or 2 or 3, the kids finally realize that we're creating a story for them. Meaning up until that point, they were always the sibling of somebody that was sick. Now they're their own person, which is awesome.
You know, one of the things that's going to be a theme tonight, and I guess it's a theme every year, but one of the reasons it's a theme tonight is because we were at the Leadership Shabbaton in Connecticut back in April, and we saw the formal training that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids on, is it Jolt? On Jolt,
Israel, yeah.
have to be trained in order to do this.
absolutely. I
The
mean,
first 48 hours must be intense.
There's a lot of psychology that I have to work with them on. There's a lot of just general techniques, methodology that they need to understand, where they need to be, how they need to work it. There's a lot of that stuff. Understand certain warning signs, things that they need to bring to my attention or the other advisors. There's a lot of dynamics going on, and they executed it perfectly. They were fantastic. We had a goodbye party with the parents. The parents were crying. The kids were crying. I said we had a yashvat, so yeshivat sevet. I sat with them. I said, if everybody cries on the last day, then we did something right.
At least that helps to break the ice a little bit, you know. And if they do cry, they don't feel bad.
Exactly.
It's America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listener-sponsored digital radio around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com, on the Nachum Segal Network, and of course on the beloved NSN app. So you have Shlomo and Eitan Katz tonight.
Love them.
Your kids will enjoy it.
I love them. My kids are going to be all over it.
They'll be into the Jewish music. I say it
Totally.
like that because you know that and not to compare it too much, but you know that the typical, I don't know, Jolt kid 30 years ago, if there was such a thing, may not be as into the Jewish music scene.
Yeah.
For some reason, especially in forums like this, it's not an uncool idea to participate in the Jewish music.
So that's one of the things that we do on Jolt Israel. We make Judaism cool, and we make being from cool. They love it. All of our kids are yeshiva kids on Jolt Israel, so they buy into that culture. But still, they're still into like the typical like culture music, but there's something that jumps out of them when they hear it, and they're gonna love it.
I always say to you that I know from my own personal experience that I know kids and I'm very close with certain kids that Monday through Thursday they'll listen to certain radio stations. Friday they're putting on the Jewish stuff because they feel it, and here it seems they like that avirah.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it.
Very cool. All right, well, mazal tov to you.
Thank you.
Another
It's
great
so
summer for
good
you.
to see
You
you.
are amazing.
Thank
you are
you.
incredible.
Love you.
Continued
Thank you for
hatzlacha.
everything.
This year, I hope I'll actually visit you at North Shore.
That would be
something
amazing.
We really got to do that this time
That
around.
would be amazing.
We really got to do that.
We want it from our.
I know.
So let's make it happen.
It's a long trek to your place.
Oh,
You
I
that,
know.
right?
I know. Love you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
everything.
so much.
Okay.
JM in the AM. And we are at Yome we now get to speak to the real heroes of the night. These are the guys who are going to be recognized all through the evening. Mark Fine is with us. Mark is the director of TJJ Ambassadors Poland. Now, just to remind our listeners, whenever we've been speaking tonight or any other time, this morning or any other time, about TJJ, that's the public school youth that dedicate a summer, 5-6 weeks, to being in Israel. They do that either by convincing or with the blessing of their parents. And that's why, and we refer to that as TJJ overall. This, Mark Fine, is TJJ Ambassadors Poland. Now, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It does include an Israel component, correct?
Absolutely.
Tell us the schedule.
Sure. So schedule is we have an orientation Shabbat in Teaneck. Great opportunity for everyone to meet each other from around the country. All 59 students from across North America.
There
Then
are 59?
59 students. Thank God we expanded this year. And it's been absolutely incredible.
When did they get to Israel?
So we spend a week in Poland learning about the Holocaust, Jewish history, Jewish identity. And then we spend 3 weeks in Israel.
And I assume it's the first time for these students both in Poland and in many cases in Israel.
Yeah, so absolutely the first time for them in Poland, and for many of them the last time.
Right, understood.
I'm the only one that keeps coming back. And in Israel, around 10 of them, this is actually their first experience in Israel. And a lot of them went on TJJ previously. And they're the students who wanted a more intense experience and meaningful experience. And then they come back for round 2 with us.
Oh, so this ended up being a product of the growth of TJJ.
Absolutely.
Students who wanted another experience,
Correct.
and they enjoyed the first year
TJJ
tremendously.
is so successful, they said, look, like we got the inspirational component, we want to come back again. So we designed a more intensive learning environment and reflective environment for those students who wanted even more.
Interesting. Are they going to enjoy this? Are they going to enjoy Yom NCSY?
Everyone enjoys Yom NCSY. What's not to enjoy? 2,500 Jews from around the world.
No matter
coming
what their
together to
background
dance.
is, they love the Jewish music. They've gotten, we know about March of the Living and how a few days in Poland and then a few days in Israel can be a transformative experience. When you're doing a week in Poland and 3 weeks here in Israel, it must be on a completely different level.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things is that connection between Poland and Israel. That's not just about let's experience death in Poland, but like how do they live in Poland? And then for many students, Poland's their first experience of galut or diaspora in a real way. So when they come to Israel, there's such a greater appreciation for, wow, imagine if there would have been an IDF. Wow, this does feel like home. And to spend 3 weeks being able to tour and to invest and to learn and really immerse themselves in the country solidifies all the growth they've been having over the summer.
Mark Fine, TJJ Ambassadors Poland, tell me a story that I'll never believe. Is there a student of yours at TJJ Ambassadors who has some, what we would call crazy background or really, I don't know, a happenstance in their life that got them here that's remarkable?
Yeah, I mean, they all have crazy stories, but there's actually one NCSYer who came on a public school learning program, Yarchei Kala, over the winter. She was actually already signed up for a summer program of a different youth organization.
Wow.
Loved the learning at Yarchei Kala, had a conversation, switched her money over for the summer, came with us, and has been loving it ever since.
The rest is history, as they say. It happens, and I know we'll discuss this later when we do a major TJJ conversation. You know that TJJ is the star of the night tonight, right?
20 years.
It's 20 years, and it's a big anniversary. but we should note, and I don't know if if this is the case in your program, many of the students of TJJ end up being madrichim on TJJ.
So we have an advisor this summer who started as an NCSYer on TJJ Ambassadors and is now back with us as an advisor this summer.
There you have it. So I was right, I guess.
Absolutely.
It seems to be one of the most heartwarming parts of the whole experience, right? Welcoming them back as a madrich, as an advisor.
And they're able to relate to them in such a different way because that was their story and their journey. And it's not just me or a different educator going, oh, this is something that's possible for you. To be able to point to someone who can say, hey, I was there, this was my journey, this could be your journey. It's a whole different level of relatability and credibility.
So you're not even a bus number. You're your own Ambassadors Poland, huh?
Thank God we're special.
Yes. Mark Fine, I thank you. Kol hakavod.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
Absolutely.
Yom NCSY.
Enjoy. Always a pleasure.
I appreciate that. More coming up. You are listening to an amazing and incredible edition of JM in the AM as we are at Yom NCSY. You hear all the incredible background noise. You know what it is? It's the beginning of a major concert which is going to star Shlomo and Eitan Katz for over 1,600 Yom NCSY Summer Program participants. Another 900 to 1,000 people who are here to enjoy, family and friends of a great organization, the OU and NCSY, and all of us get an opportunity to see this in action. It is a remarkable experience. More coming up. You are listening to JM in the AM on the Nachum Segal Network.
נפשי חוי לסהב עושךו, עוד הוא נועה, זיבוי לו. נפשי חוי לסהב עושךו, עוד הוא נועה, זיבוי לו. נפשי חוי לסהב עושךו, עוד הוא נועה, זיבוי לו. נפשי חוי לסהב Oh, no, que no
JM in the AM, it's Chaim David Burson. We're at Yome NCSY. The Vice Chairman of the Jewish Unity Initiative, Dr. Joe Rosazada, is here. Welcome, Dr. Joe. We got to raise his mic. There we go. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, Sadiq. How are you?
Thank you. I'm not a tzaddik, but shalom. Did we surprise David Rosazada?
Absolutely.
Is he having a nice summer at NCSY?
He's having an amazing time. He really
Tell me,
is.
as a parent, some of the things that are really effective that he's enjoying this summer.
So, the first 2 days, I got a text from the Rebbe, from the other people that, David is there till 1 o'clock in the morning learning. I said, right away. He got into it right away, right this second. Yeah. Right away. So he really got into it right away, and he's amazing. He's enjoying it so much. And
we'll see everybody tomorrow night there, but the level of the Torah giants that are there is simply remarkable. So David, and hundreds of others get to spend their summer with that.
For sure. It's really, really, really amazing. It's so nice to hear, who's there, how many people are. He has even 10-minute shiurim with them. Just even the 10 minutes during the day that he gets to be with Rav Shachter or whoever is there is unbelievable. It's
there
so
may
nice.
be some people now panicking in New Jersey that he might be giving up on his basketball schedule and things like. Is he able to keep up with that?
Yes, thank God. 2 game winners, I hear. So far.
Already 2 game winners? Buzzer beaters, real buzzer beaters. All right. I only saw the video of one of them. What do you think of this? What do you think of all these North American teenagers, public school, yeshiva, day school, yeshiva league, all coming together for a night like this?
I want to tell you, when I came from Iran, Rabbi Goldwasser is getting honored sort of tonight. So when I came, NCSY really was a little bit different than the way it is now. So they really took me in as an 8th grader, 9th grader, I remember. And Barry literally used to drive me to Shabbatons. He used to really, really take good care of me. And it's so, it's like such a small world that, boom, I'm here. And that day, I didn't even know about it until, really yesterday or 2 days ago that Barry was getting the honor. So I was so happy to be here. And to say that really he was amazing. He had a big role in my life growing up and learning and going Shabbatot and spending Shabbos with NCSY throughout the year. So it's really amazing to have a big circle come around.
That's unbelievable. And you know what he's built this into since 1998.
I know.
Hundreds of kids, summers with 11, 12, 13 buses, and Poland now and other programs.
It's amazing, really, really. He's so talented. He's so good. He's funny at the same time. He's serious. So it's really a perfect guy. And nobody else deserves it more than him. He really is unbelievable.
It's funny. Over the years, and you've spoken with us, publicly over the years about your experience from the time you were a teenager and arrived, even younger than a teenager, and arrived in America. There were, and you had a great family support system, Baruch Hashem, but yet there were so many other people, rabbis and community leaders and people like Barry, he mentioned, who really had a role in all this.
Really. And NCSY, I was telling you, it was a major part of, I have so much I could talk to them because they really did help me out to grow into, Yiddishkeit and be more religious and Shabbatot and everything like that. It really did. I was an NCSY advisor, I was an NCSY president, so it really went through. And then, then they went different direction. I guess it was more now the summer thing. So now I see this. It's amazing to see it. Unbelievable.
See, now I understand. Besides just seeing your children, I understand why you wanted to see this whole thing up close and personal. Dr. Joe Rosazada, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. Dr. Rosazada, of course, for us, the vice chair of the Jewish Unity Initiative and so much more for the Jewish community in New Jersey and beyond. Shira Cronenberg is going to join us. Yes, she is. Shira Cronenberg is introduced to me as the director of a first-year program called 4G Euro. Would that be the accurate title?
Yes, it is.
That's it. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
In history, you'll be known as the very first.
Exactly.
And what is 4G Euro?
4G Euro, it's an all-girls summer program that spent a week and a half in Italy and then a little over 2 weeks in Israel. So we've been everywhere.
And that's because Italy has a rich Jewish history. What reason?
There is a rich Jewish history, and it gave the chance to girls to travel and learn and really just have a chance to grow and see Jewish history throughout all the other side of Europe, Italy.
Are these a typical right out of 10th grade, or you have older students?
We had girls going out of 10th, going into 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Why did you know that this program would work? How did you know it would attract young ladies out there?
I think girls are really interested in traveling and going. Most of the girls I interviewed were really interested in being able to see the world and also get to see Israel again. So
Moments ago when we spoke about Poland and Israel, the progression, the inspiration that one can imagine a student gets from that transition is remarkable. Is there that type of transition when it comes to being in Europe, in another part of Europe, like Italy, and then spending this time in Israel?
Yes, the girls really appreciated coming to Israel after going to Italy, especially because we got to see the Arch of Titus during the 3 weeks and really hone in on.
Good point.
So it was really great for them.
Good point. What ended up becoming the center of the Jewish exile for a
Exactly.
long, long time. A rich history there, as you mentioned.
Exactly.
And rich meaning detailed and long. I don't know about rich in terms of good, but rich meaning detailed and long.
Exactly.
And then, of course, getting to Israel. So we always ask the question of a first-year program, you think there'll be a second year?
I hope so. It's definitely a great program. The girls have been really enjoying it, and hopefully there'll be a second year.
What do you think of the geography? Where are they coming from? New York?
All over.
Everywhere.
That was really the nicest thing. We had girls from LA, Florida, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, New Jersey, New York. So we really had girls from everywhere.
Was it
So
difficult getting advisors for this trip?
No, I actually had a lot of people applying for the job, and my madrichot are amazing.
And one of them, or a formal tour guide, knows everything about Italy.
We kind of supplemented some of it. I teach Nach in my other job, so that was helpful.
There you go.
Yeah. So it was great. And then our tour guide, we had a tour guide from Israel join us who also helped with some of the Jewish history. And then most of my madrichot are in education, so that's been helpful.
One of the themes tonight, we really have two themes tonight. One is this TJJ celebration, which is remarkable.
Yes.
The other one is the experience we had in meeting so much of the leadership of Summer NCSY in April back at the Shabbaton in Connecticut, and seeing how all of that training translates into a summer like this. With that in mind, I would assume your advisors, your madrichot, are formally trained, really have become superstars in that whole area, and have this ability to, in an amazing way, affect the lives of these teenagers.
Yes, definitely. And all of our chabura, like the madrichot planned each chabura, we had learning every day on the program. And it really helped enhance the program a tremendous amount, especially with their background that they were coming in with. So it was great.
Shira, one of the things we love is as we get to announce the increase in the number of NCSY summer programs. So we owe you a debt of gratitude for making it even more exciting for us.
Really, my pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining us. And
Thank
continued
you.
success this summer.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
A pleasure. Shira Cronenberg is the director of 4G Euro. They're in a first-year program. And it is, as you heard, an amazing one. You are listening to JM in the AM on another remarkable day with NCSY, in this case, Yome NCSY, with all the amazing and incredible noise in the background as they get set for a fantastic program and wonderful concert. It's all coming up if you keep it right here at JM in the AM.
מלחמות קשות רדיפות כואבות בכל זמן בכל מקום עברנו את פרעה נעבור גם את זה עלילות שקרים צוררים קשים שרוצים רק להרוס עברנו את פרעה נעבור גם את זה אז נצא כולנו יחד לרחובות העיר ניקח אוויר ונצעד אודה השם, אודה לך אבא דואג ואוהב זה עושה טוב בלב אודה השם, אודה לך אבא מושלם נאמן כל הזמן תודה לך וכמעט כולם בכל העולם כבר רואים את האמת עברנו את פרעה נעבור גם את זה השנאה תיפול, הקנאה תחתול ויגידו אז בקול עברנו את פרעה, נעבור גם את זה. אז נצא כולנו יחד לחובות העיר, ניקח אוויר ונצעד. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא דואג ואוהב, זה עושה טוב הלב. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא מושלם, נאמן כל רחמן. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא דואג ואוהב, זה עושה טוב הלב. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא מושלם, נאמן כל רחמן. מלכים גדולים, מדינות ענק, אימפריות כה גדולות, כמעט שנעלמו, ואנחנו עוד כאן. כך אלפי שנים, מעטים ורבים, ואין ספור של ניסים. עם ישראל חי, אנחנו עוד כאן. אנחנו עוד כאן. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא דואג ואוהב, זה עושה טוב בלב. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא מושלם, נאמן כל רחמן. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא דואג ואוהב, זה עושה טוב בלב. אודה השם, אודה לך אבא מושלם, נאמן כל רחמן. תודה לך. מחר השמש תזרח וכולנו נשמח ולא נצטרך עוד לבכות. מחר הכל יתמהר, הכאב ייגמר, רק צריך להאמין שאפשר לחכות עד מחר. מה שהיה, היה ועבר, עוד לא קרה שיום חזר. מה שהיה, היה ונגמר, מה שיהיה זה כל מה שנשאר. מה שהיה תם ונשלם, אתה כבר לא הולך לשם. מה שהיה, היה ונזכר, מה שפתוח זה רק המחר. מחר השמש תזרח וכולנו נשמח ולא נצטרך עוד לבכות. מחר הכל יתמהר, הכאב ייגמר, רק צריך להאמין שאפשר לחכות עד מחר. מה שהיה, היה ועבר, עוד לא קרה שיום חזר. מה שהיה, היה ונגמר, מה שיהיה זה כל מה שנשאר. מה שהיה תם ונשלם, אתה כבר לא הולך לשם. מה שהיה, היה ונזכר, מה שפתוח זה רק המחר. מחר השמש תזרח וכולנו נשמח ולא נצטרך עוד לבכות. מחר הכל יתמהר, הכאב ייגמר, רק צריך להאמין שאפשר לחכות רק צריך להאמין שאפשר לחכות עד מחר השמש תזרח וכולנו נשמח ולא נצטרך עוד לבכות מחר הכל יתמהר הכאב ייגמר רק צריך להאמין שאפשר לחכות עד מחר לחכות עד
Mordechai Shapiro, it's JM in the AM. We're live, sort of, from Yome NCSY. Miriam Wallach's here. We have a lot of great special guests coming up. Mike Spain's going to join us, of course, leader at the OU. Should we do our shout-outs now or go to Rabbi Goldwasser and come back and do those? What do you say?
Well, if you want to do them in a block,
Yeah.
then we should hear the golden words of Rabbi Goldwasser.
All right, we'll do that. So, Yoni, get ready with that. Rabbi David Goldwasser's words, Zech Nishmas are of Zebedee V'Zevalevi, and Zech Nishmas Esther Basar V'Zevalevi. Here is Rabbi David Goldwasser with Morning Chizot.
Good morning. It says in Shmos, V'lakachti eschem li la'am. Usually, in order for a people to become a nation, they have to dwell in the same land where they were born and raised. If they become uprooted from their land and have to move elsewhere, they can't always maintain their own nationality. Bnei Yisrael, however, became a nation before they reached Eretz Yisrael. We have always been a nation, no matter which land we have gone to. The Yalkut Chodesh explains that the same language is employed with reference to Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, as the expression that is used for the Torah. Torah tzivolonu Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu commanded us the Torah. Moirosha, it is an inheritance, Kehilas Yaakov, for the Kehillah of Yaakov. Because the inheritance of Eretz Yisrael is not something that a person has an everlasting schus to, we have this privilege if we live a life according to Torah. Our claim to Eretz Yisrael depends on Klal Yisrael guarding our nationality through Shmiras HaMitzvahs in Torah learning. The Michtav Eliyahu says, the fact that we have a yishuv in Eretz Yisrael today is a nes. It's a miracle. It is among the great chasodim that Hashem has bestowed upon His nation. We are able to come from one extreme, the point of Chorban Europa, the Holocaust, to the other extreme, and reestablish the yeshivas and the great centers of Yiddishkeit in Eretz Yisrael. We have to remember, though, there is an Eretz Yisrael de Lamata and an Eretz Yisrael Shalmaila, one that is below and one that is above. They both must exist simultaneously. We say in davening, Dover Tziva le'elef dor. It has been thousands of years since we have gone into Golus, into the exile. How does the Ava, the great love, remain in our heart? The Michtav Eliyahu explains, it's because of the holiness of Eretz Yisrael. That Kedusha continues to draw us near, no matter how long the bitter Golus is. This is the Yerusha, the inheritance that we have from Avraham Avinu. He was Moser Nefesh. He self-sacrificed for the Nisayon, the challenge of Lech Lecha. The Talmidim of the Belzer Rebbe, Reb Shalom of Belz, had drawn water for the Mayim Shalonu, the special water which is used to bake matzahs. When they finished their task, they were leaving the water overnight to use the next day. They wished the Rebbe, L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, next year in Yerushalayim. The Rebbe asked, why next year? We can take this water that we drew today, and we can bake matzahs in Yerushalayim, and eat them in the presence of Mashiach tomorrow. This has been Rabbi David Goldwasser, bringing you Morning Chizuk. Have a nice day.
JM, thank you very much, Rabbi Goldwasser, Yome NCSY. Miriam Wallach is here. We'll be speaking with more representatives of the OU and NCSY coming up. By the way, it seems from the information I am getting that our Nefesh B'Nefesh show Wednesday morning, an absolute record breaker
Yay.
in terms of engagement with our audience worldwide, and I am so proud of that. And we had some great guests.
Thank
you
God.
did an amazing job producing the show.
Thank
and
you.
remember, it was done on a plane. Just
It
remember
was
that.
done on a plane.
So there you go. All right, some shout-outs. You ready for this?
Let's go.
These are people who contacted us in advance to make sure that we'd be able to say hi to Ayelet Rosen. That comes from Shalom and Aviva Goodman. That's her aunt and uncle. So a shout-out to Ayelet, who's part of NCSY. What else do we have here? We have, sorry about that. I got all my schedule. Oh, here's where all the schedules were. Yoni,
we were missing the schedules.
Yoni wanted an extra schedule. Now I found them.
We found them now.
A Southern shout-out going to Donnie Fuchs, part of Jolt, and Ari Fuchs, part of Built. I guess we're going to be seeing the Fuchses later on, all right?
We love the Fuchses.
We certainly do. We have a shout-out to Kayla Zlotnick, who will be at Yome and CSY with Yad Beyad. Many thanks from Ira and Grunny Zlotnick. All right. TJJ's 20th anniversary shout-out. We'll save that for later. A shout-out from the Strassmans with love to Chaim Strassman from Abba and Ima. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Kenneth, everybody in the Strassman family.
It wouldn't be a show without the Strassmans.
That's true. Hello to granddaughters Belle and Abby Schneider on the month-long NCSY tour for Michael and Janet Wallen. So it's a big shout-out. We have a shout-out for our NCSY programs to Hannah, now listen to this, Lubezhnik of Minneapolis, St. Paul, from Paulina, Jean, Danny, David, Yoni, and Ayelet. Have an easy, meaningful fast, they said, for Tisha B'Av. Looking forward to the broadcast, especially NCSY and the Aliyah flight. And that's from our friend, Dr. Jean Berkovich.
Wow.
Nice shout-out. We also have a couple of shout-outs that are on my phone because they came in a little later than we preferred. So I'll get to those in a minute, and then we'll continue with our special guests here at Yom NCSY. You ready for these?
I am. I will continue to provide lighting.
Oh, yeah. And,
No. Save your battery.
I appreciate that.
Somebody's going to have to use ways to get us back.
This is a unique opportunity, everybody. A unique opportunity to include some of our listeners in today's show. Aviva Rosen. Let me get it back now. You know how phones can sometimes be a little temperamental, rather.
A little wonky.
Temperamental.
Exactly.
Aviva Rosen, shout out to our beautiful daughter, Ayelet Rosen from Potomac, Maryland. So
Wow.
Maryland is checking in.
Maryland.
Russell Adler says, shout out for our daughter, Adina Adler at Michlelet, whose birthday is on Tu B'Av. Happy birthday to Adina.
So technically it's her birthday.
That's from Tu B'Av is Friday, so yeah, tonight will be her birthday, right? So Russell and Anita Adler check in with that. Oh, and look at this. Bobby and Zadie Weintraub have a shout-out to Chava Siegel, who's part of Give, with a message of we love you and we miss you. Wow, that's funny. Two places at once.
Two places? What do you mean?
That was my voice in the background.
Oh, hey. Nachum, you are very talented.
Throwing my voice.
You are getting people seated and doing a show at the same time.
Shout out to NCS. I think something that we were trying to chase away earlier may have gotten onto my leg.
Okay.
Shout out to NCSY Colo participant Kobe Kasdan.
Yikes.
Keep up the good learning, they say.
Yikes about the bite,
You
not
could-
about the shadow.
You could say that again.
Yeah.
And I think there was one more, and then we'll continue with our guest. I think it was. Oh yeah, I read this to you earlier. We got this from Rebbitzin Shoshana Genak.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for an incredible NBN program. Listening to the show and the charter flight brings tears to my eyes.
Oh my.
And hoping to be on that flight soon. Enjoy Yom NCSY. And please give a shout-out to nephew Yoni Besser, spending the summer learning on NCSY Kollel, and niece Shoshana Shayowitz, who's spending the summer on Mechlelet. Comes from Shoshana and Rabbi Yitzi Genak. So there you go. Some of the people who have been checking in, some amazing and wonderful people who've been checking in. And there you go. That's some of our shout-outs here. Yoni says that you have a requirement now to remind everybody about social media and how they can follow some of the great things that we're doing in Israel. What do you say? What do you say there, Miriam Wallach? Go right
I
ahead.
say we love social media.
Right.
And we encourage everyone to follow us on social media. We thank Yoni for his hard work at social media. He really keeps us in touch. You can find us on Facebook at Nachum Siegel Network. You can find us on Instagram at Nachum Siegel Network, Twitter, Nachum Siegel Net. And, of course, you can find all of our programming at NachumSiegel.com. And those of us who are loving the Listen Line, shout out to everyone who's listening to us on the Listen Line.
That's
Give
right.
yourselves a round of applause.
Yes, in your home or in your car, wherever it is you're connecting by telephone.
Or you're
Thank
at
you.
your desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's 605-562-4400. A shout out to everyone there as well. Oh my word!
You know,
it's the superstar.
You know that Chani Naaman is here, but Akiva Naaman
Can I
is here.
tell you
know that.
something? Poor Chani. Poor Chani.
Chani's my darling niece, and she knows how much we love her darling husband. So there you go.
I mean, he's an incredibly popular member of the family.
And Yoni points out that if you're going to go to one of the three, go to Instagram, right?
Right. Well, right now there's a lot going on. We have a lot of content.
Okay. We'll look into the calamine lotion.
Or the Benadryl.
And the Benadryl supply here in Israel a little later on. And I thank you for securing our guests for the upcoming segment here at Yome and CSY.
I would like to thank United Hatzalah for the Benadryl they will be providing.
This
later.
is a challenging situation. Because, it's interesting when you wake up with 100 bites, but when they're actually happening and you feel that's a little different.
Right. So we might be dealing with the heat, and we might be dealing with the lack of lighting, and we might be able to handle the fact that we can't hear ourselves, but it's the bugs.
Let's say that again.
It's the bug bites.
All right. We have more coming up, right?
We do. So I would quickly go to a short song.
All right.
And we're going to get our next guest on because Mr. Moshe Bain joins you very, very momentarily.
We're getting ready. Moshe Hecht is next. God is alive and well in Jerusalem, one of our favorite selections. We'll do that coming up. And I remind you to continue to stay tuned to our broadcast here as JM and the AM continues at the Nachum Segal Network. And as we said earlier, follow us with all the incredible social media. So you can see all the photos and get all the information from us at JM and the AM.
If I ever get back to California, I'm gonna round up every Jew I've ever known. I'm gonna sit down, right down there in front of me. Gonna take out this guitar and sing them all these songs. God is alive and well in Jerusalem, yeah. People praying 3 times a day to Him. Throw away the cars and bars, the stocks and bonds, and upkept loans. Grab a boat or plane if need be, swim. Some folks gotta
Yeah, it's a message we love transmitting when we're in Israel, and that is that God is alive and well in Jerusalem. Moshe Hecht off of the Yes Legacy here at JM in the AM. Well, Moshe Bain, he's president of the OU. He has overseen over the last couple of years just amazing growth, incredible programming, and this, an NCSY organization and a summer program, the collective summer program that has just become the darling of the international Jewish community. Moshe Bain, an honor to welcome you back to JM.
Always great to talk to you, Nachum.
I am in the mood when you and I are together at this to wish you a mazel tov. I feel like we're at a simcha. I feel like we're at a celebration. I know you take Jewish unity very seriously. I know you take love of Eretz Israel very seriously. I know you take great pride in all the Torah study that's going on with these kids all through the summer, even though tonight, obviously, they have this incredible night off. So I feel like we're at a simcha and that I owe you a mazel tov.
Well, I think we owe each other a mazel tov. This is not a personal event. This is a Klal Yisrael event, and it really is a mazel tov. We're celebrating not only the Torah that's learned here, but the connection that all these kids are making to the country, to Israel, and to each other as part of the Jewish people, which is necessarily going to affect them for the rest of their lives.
It is remarkable. Some people listening might think that what you just said only applies to those who had no connection to Israel before they got here, public school youth, etc., who are well represented here tonight. But I know that you mean that our yeshiva kids and those that I always refer to in the Yeshiva League High School League and they are having the same type of transformation, maybe in a little bit of a different way, but the same type of growth this summer.
Absolutely. Look, there's always a risk when you're in the frum community that you become very insulated. You begin to think that your world is the entirety of the Jewish community. And to spend the summer seeing that there's so many other kids from backgrounds that are different than yours who also want to connect to God, who also want to grow in Judaism, it changes your growth itself.
You know, earlier we had, not that this is such a revelation, but for this programming it is because we had never discussed it before, all these programs are fed by what goes on in NCSY all year round. You know, I joked earlier when they're sitting in a Starbucks in some city in the United States having one of these Torah sessions, it's there that they're introducing to these students the concept of coming along to Israel for the summer, which is really remarkable. So this is not in and of itself a 2-month project. This is happening all year round.
Well, absolutely. It happens all year round. It leads to these kinds of experiences that are clearly more intense than the casual afternoon get-together for an hour. And even this experience is merely a precursor to coming after high school and learning here a full year, which many of both the yeshiva kids and even many of the public school kids actually do, primarily because of these kinds of experiences.
It's really amazing. Have you heard anything in terms of great stories, like one kid where you couldn't believe they came from a certain background or situation, or parental battle, which we don't encourage, but we know sometimes happens? Anything you've been told already specifically about one of these cases out there?
Well, we frankly are not very encouraging of parental battles.
That's for sure, but you know what I mean.
I know that it's not part of the culture that we're trying to encourage. But there are, for example, last year we began a Mechina program in the Kollel, which we had 11 students with no backgrounds, public school kids who came to a full-time learning program. 7 of them did not know how to read Hebrew before they came. 1 of them never had a bar mitzvah, and we actually celebrated their bar mitzvah at the age of 17 at the Kollel last summer. Of those kids, 7 are coming to Israel to learn after high school next year.
A full year program.
Exactly.
What we know as the gap year. Just incredible. The whole thing is amazing. And I wasn't encouraging any battles with parents, but I did say earlier that in some cases with the public school youth, sometimes with the urging of the parents and sometimes with the blessing of the parents, right? You have a whole spectrum of things. I got to ask you, obviously, some general questions about the OU. You've taken, I mean, look, if someone would ask what the Moshe Bain agenda has been, I believe you would proudly say that the last couple of years you've really wanted to concentrate on Jewish education for everybody, whether it's these youth, whether it's adults around the country, whether it's the incredibly large Jewish community of New York and New Jersey. I think you can conclude at this point that so far that has been a success.
Well, I wouldn't call it the Moshe Bain agenda. I think it's an OU agenda.
Some might call it a Jewish agenda.
That's right. We have a lot of partners within the organization, both on the lay side and the professional side, who share this agenda. I agree with you that it has been very successful. And the success is a reflection of the thirst that the community has at so many different levels, not just high school kids, not just on our college campuses where our JLIC programs are giving opportunities to kids in secular universities to learn Torah during the course of their year, but even on the adult level. And the programs that we've already introduced and that we're planning to introduce to give Jews of all kinds of backgrounds as adults and even as retirees to engage in Torah learning as a significant part of their life is very, very encouraging and exciting.
I'm glad you mentioned JLIC. I was pointing out earlier how some groups like this, NCSY Summer, might be hesitant to grow at a rapid pace like you are because it's hard to staff. You need quality people, and somehow you have been able to really incorporate even more and more quality staff members. A shout out to JLIC, because I frankly don't know how you find these couples, these Jewish heroes, who are undertaking these tasks, and some of them on difficult college campuses. I don't know where the supply comes from, but maybe you could shed some light on it, where you're finding them.
Well, it's amazing because the couples really come from across the world. We have many couples, many who are Anglophone, but who comes from Israel, and they don't intend to stay in America. They tend to come for 4 or 5 years, develop an expertise, develop the experience of working with American kids and then returning to Israel. We even had a couple last year from Germany that had been German and working in education in Germany who came to be JLIC couples for a year. And of course, the majority are United States, born and bred, out of our yeshivas, out of Yeshiva University, out of other places. And the growth of the community over the last 30 years has produced these enormous talents that we have now at JLIC and at NCSY. When you look at NCSY advisors today, you're able to grow because the pool of yeshiva boys and girls has grown so enormously. And therefore, we're able to grow exponentially because of that.
And they have a desire to stay within that circle, become madrichim and madrichot themselves, advisors during the year, etc. So do you get a chance to see up close and personal the JLIC experience?
Yeah, I was fortunate over the course of the last year. I went to 2 campuses. I agree with JLIC. I try to go to at least 1 campus every semester. My wife and I go, and it's incredibly
for the full
exciting.
Shabbat experience.
Yeah, full Shabbat experience, and it's really, it's very exciting to meet the young people who want to grow, even when they're involved in their studies, even during finals, they're showing up to learn. It's very, very exciting.
That's unbelievable. Well, look, I mean, continued blessings. It's really an amazing program. This, as I said, I think is one of the great simchas of the Jewish world. Just the unity in and of itself is so remarkable, and to see everybody come together like this. And I am amazed, because I know attitudes toward Jewish music, and that's, of course, the main staple of tonight. I am amazed that not only the yeshiva teenagers, but the public school youth as well are inspired by what goes on in the Jewish music arena, which is so great. Tadar rabba tahu. Thank you so much for joining me, and continued hatzlacha.
Thank you. Same to you.
I appreciate that. Maish Bain, he's president of the OU, doing a remarkable job in overseeing such an amazing staff and an NCSY summer program growth that is to be envied by any organization, by any youth group, by any leadership in the United States and beyond. More coming up. Miriam Wallach is providing us with another guest. I think, Yoni, am I right that they're about to go with some fireworks here? We'll do our own fireworks. We will we will introduce somebody that we've been very anxious to speak to for the last couple of months, ever since we heard of his role. Oren, shalom to you. This is Oren Bendelstein, who is director of Resurf. It is another first-year program. I'll give you a chance to tell our audience what is Resurf.
Resurf is an organization. It's a program. It's a summer camp that's been built since 2012, but now taken on by NCSY to really build leadership and enable teens to become true leaders, to help make a difference for students that in Israel that live in boarding schools, that have to leave their homes for all sorts of different reasons. And we give them life, we give them passion, we give them energy. We create relationships with the students in Israel, and at the same time have an amazing time with our teams that are part of our summer program, traveling all over Israel, getting to surf, learning how to surf for the first time, traveling, zip lining, doing stand-up paddleboarding, wakeboarding. I mean,
we could call this an adventurous program?
I would call it a leadership program with a social service twist, and what we found at the end of this summer, which is tonight is our last night here, is we built a family of ambassadors. It's not about the summer. It's about our teens coming home, being leaders in their schools, building up leadership by building clubs and creating more awareness and helping more kids and people all over the world.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
New York City. New Yorkers surf?
Oh yeah. I live in Long Beach. So Long Beach, I was about a 2-minute walk to the beach from my house.
Do you have any experienced surfers with you this summer?
Say that again?
Do you have any experience?
We have a couple. Yeah, there were maybe out of our 30, we had about 5 of our teens that have been in the water.
And the other 25 want to learn it.
They got to learn how to surf, and they loved it. I mean, our biggest problem on our trip was, how do we do programs outside of the water, because they were just so excited. Everybody just connects. I mean, the water is a powerful thing. We know Mayim V'chaim, that's the world that works on water.
And what is it? What is it that is instilled in them when they have that type of water experience?
There's just a connection that they make with each other, with God,
nature, right?
Yeah, and I guess in a lot of ways in terms of Jewish outreach, what better way to connect to a student than to be able to get into the water with them and push them into a wave, and for the very first time sometimes, and just be able to share that stoke that they get, and then after that, I mean, it's basically it's a done deal in terms of our relationship, and then we talk Torah and we create bonds together, and we meet Israelis that are religious, that are not religious, from all the aspects that we got going on in Israel. And they get to see that, and they get to see the amazing people that are here, and it's inspiring. And our goal here is to inspire teens, and that's what we're doing. But we're not just inspiring our teens; we're inspiring Israelis and giving just regulars. So they're getting to meet the people. They're not just on a travel trip where you are touring. We're really traveling and meeting the people and mingling with the Israelis and seeing life in their eyes. And it's been an incredible, fun journey.
Oren Bendelstein is here. We're talking about Resurf. There'll be a second year, right?
Oh yeah. It's we're definitely looking in this coming year to actually hopefully add another component. Possibly right now we work with public school students, but we're looking into possibly working with also the yeshiva day school students as well, and giving them the opportunity to be on a trip like this. But yeah, this year we had 30. Next year we're hoping to have 60 students. But most of all, we're looking to do something new within NCSY, where we can have summer programs with a year-round component. So it starts here in Israel, but it goes throughout the year where you get these students motivated, you get them to become real true leaders, and they go to their schools and they recruit and find other Jewish teens inside their schools, and then they go out and they do chesed missions with us. So it's
Is it
fantastic.
difficult to surf?
No way.
not
Anybody
that-
can do it. Well, I'll get you out there
We
at
can
some
do it.
point. Oh yeah, it's very easy. All you gotta do is be willing to get on a board and go into the water.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And by the end of the day, I'll be able to do that.
You're gonna ride a wave no matter what.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That would be some experience. Oren Bendelstein, he directs Resurf. It's a first-year program which has seen great success. Thank God. Wishing you the best of luck. And
Thank you
Colin,
so
come over
much.
to you.
Thank you for
very
having
much.
me. Have a great
pleasure.
night.
JM in the AM. Yeah, it's nighttime here, even though you are experiencing this as a Thursday morning edition of JM in the AM. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a song from one of the stars of tonight's Yome NCSY. Shlomo Katz and Eitan Katz are together. Here's one of them, Shlomo Katz at JM in the AM.
ישמח מלך בעמו, ועמו במלכו. ישמח מלך בעמו, ועמו במלכו. ישמח מלך בעמו, ועמו במלכו. ישמח מלך בעמו, בעמו במלכו. ישמח מלך בעמו, ועמו 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 במלכו.
JM in the AM. You hear the background? The background is the Yome and CSY celebration. Ziggy Zarnist is here. He's director of Rescue Israel, partnering with United Hatzalah to give some of our amazing teenagers an incredible experience and life-saving techniques, I would assume. Ziggy Zarnist, welcome to JM and the AM.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Can you hear me, or do you want to work on my ears maybe to help me?
I can hear you. It's loud, but it's great.
I think I may need some help, frankly. This is a program in its first year?
Correct.
And I don't know how the concept came about. I think it's unique and different in that the bulk of the time, I assume, these teenagers are spending in these life-saving environments. Am I right?
Correct.
And has it been a success so far?
Thank God. It's been really great. I think the program was long in the works for a while, but about a year ago, David Cutler approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in running such a program. So, of course, I was in Israel for a wedding, so I met with United Hatzalah, and we started, putting things together, and we came up with an amazing program. We changed the itinerary a few times, and thank God, here we are today.
How many teams are there?
So, in inaugural year, we had 22. So we were shooting for 30, but we're, thank God, happy we got a bus.
I think that's a great number. And like I say, it's unique. Talk about a niche. You're talking about kids that really want to be experts in life-saving techniques. That's what it's about, right?
Correct.
This is not a CPR course. This is really getting a full-fledged experience.
It's CPR plus, so
right,
it's a whole week of class.
And do they get to go out on these different, with the different Hatzalah members in challenging situations?
So yeah, actually, after their week of training, we put them through a surprise drill. We simulated a terrorist attack. We had 5 or 6 ambulances waiting in front of the hotel. We all have radios, so that was their first night. And then that Friday, and really this entire week, we've been rotating shifts on the ambulance for the teams.
That could be scary, that whole thing.
If they knew something was coming because I was freaking them out all week, but they were ready. They did great. Hatzalah said that our group did better than some of the professionals that have been doing this for years because they're fresh and they're so into it.
And their heart's really into it. Ziggy Zarnist is with us. Do they have any experience walking into this program? Back in the United States, have they done any of this?
So some kids have ambulance experience, CPR, but you could ask them. It's nothing to prepare them for what they see, what they do, and how they train here. It's completely different. It's cutting edge. Hatzalah is responding in 90 seconds, and in Spring Hill or Fair Lawn, where I'm from, it takes 9 minutes for an ambulance to get there.
And do you have students that have zero experience at it?
Correct. It's really every end of the spectrum.
So they heard about it and said, I want to start by jumping in completely.
Yeah, this is for like the student that's interested in the fun aspect, but also kind of building the resume. And this program does both because they get real life hands-on medical experience. But we still, every night, we're touring, we're having fun, we're doing drills, we're doing the same things as all the other programs, just with the Hatzalah twist.
We talk about leadership and how all these programs, end up having a very big influence on Jewish leadership. I would say this is really a matter of not only leadership, but community involvement. When you have a guy like this making the type of commitment you describe, we're really talking about somebody who wants to be involved in the community down the road.
Correct. This Hatzalah's model is community-based response, and these kids are all people that we want to go back to be leaders, ambassadors, not only for NCSY, but also for their respective volunteer organizations, whether it be Hatzalah, their local squads, their schools. We look to them as the next leaders of the next generation.
Well, I wish you continued luck. I assume the next year 2, is going to be even bigger and better.
Yeah, thank God. I'll tell you a quick story.
Sure.
Somebody on the ambulance today, Hatzalah just messaged me. There was a lady that had an irregular pulse, and we had 2 of our kids on that took her pulse, and they recognized the signs of an irregular heartbeat, and they called ALS, which is Advanced Life Support, and she was having a heart attack. And the 2 Hatzalah EMTs that were with her didn't pick it up, and they said it's because we have fresh ears, so they literally saved somebody's life.
A real heart attack. What more is there to say? Thank you, Ziggy.
Thank you
Congratulations
so much.
and good luck.
Thank you.
It's America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listeners-sponsored digital radio around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com, on the Nachum Segal Network, and of course on the beloved NSN app. I see Alan Fagan knows exactly what I need. He knows exactly what I need. Alan Fagan ready to hand me a wet washcloth that he sees I am in desperate need of, to say the least. What an amazing simcha this is.
Unbelievable.
Thank you for welcoming us again to Yome and CSY.
Thank you so much for being here.
I mentioned earlier that because of the environment and knowing what we're celebrating, Jewish unity, your unbelievable leadership when it comes to the connection to Israel that these kids and so much of the OU and NCSY have, and of course the Torah education that every one of them are getting in different levels that every one of them is getting this summer. With all that together, I feel like we're at a simcha. I got to wish you a mazel tov.
Thank you.
So it's really
Thank
a remarkable event.
Thank you.
You've seen amazing growth. This is a total of 2,500 people, and I use that number because it's not just the 1,600 participants. It's very proud lay leaders and families that love a winner, and this organization, you can attest to, is a real winner.
Absolutely. But what I need to tell you, Nachum, is it's not just the kids, and it's not just the lay leaders, but we're not counting the staff.
I know they're amazing.
And the heart and soul of these programs is the most remarkable staff that you can assemble anywhere in the world, bar none.
You know, it's funny. As you know this better than anybody. You're the longest veteran with us at doing this. Every show takes on a personality and a theme. This year, aside from the TJJ celebration, which is not to be ignored, the theme has been the growth of NCSY's summer programs, which a lot of organizations would be hesitant to do at this pace because of what you just mentioned. Where will you get high-quality staff in those numbers? And yet, every time you have a challenge like that, you meet it.
Baruch Hashem, it's so remarkable to me that as we expand year after year, this summer with about 200 more kids than we had last summer, and plans to add additional programming next summer, we're still turning away hundreds and hundreds of staff members who want to volunteer to lead TJJ buses, to be madrichim and madrichot in the Kollel and in Mechlelet, the finest of our young people anywhere. And we're able to attract them in droves, and they are the heart and soul of these programs. They are what make these programs really sing and dance.
You know, you and I had a shared experience. You had many, many times, and because of you, we were able to have it this year, which was attending the leadership seminar Shabbaton that took place in Connecticut in April.
Correct.
I am not in any way minimizing the accomplishments of those who led this organization in the 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. But now, this formal seminar type, I almost say degree type, formal education that your leaders are getting in so many different areas across the board has really inculcated them with a resume of leadership that, that ends up being ends up manifesting itself in all of this.
It's true, and it's so critical for us to be able to focus on professional development.
That's what it is, professional development.
And it's professional development for our advisors, and it's professional development for our full-time staff, which keeps growing by the day, and providing opportunities for them to grow in their learning, to grow in their Yiddishkeit, and to grow in their skills as leaders within the communal world.
All right, so let me be redundant, if I may. You know how much talent there is here? You know how much talent there is tonight among those who are staff members who officially have a designation of madricha, madrich, advisor, counselor, whatever you want to call them. Collectively, you're talking about an immense amount of potential leadership for the future of the Jewish people.
Hundreds. And they are, in fact, the future of the Jewish people. And there's nothing more heartwarming for me than to be able to have the opportunity to see them, to speak with them. I spent the afternoon speaking to the Madrichim in the NCSY Kollel. What a remarkable group. There are almost 100 staff members in the Kollel alone. And they are the very finest young men, and the Madrichot in Mechlelet, the finest young women in our community.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good message to the parents out there. They should realize that, thank God for the Ayin Hara, their children are with real great role models.
Incredible role models, and what we try to tell them is that not only are they teaching and imparting Torah to the kids in our programs, but more importantly, they're allowing our kids to see them and to see what they're going to look like in a couple of years. More importantly, what they want to look like in a couple of years, and that is just an incredible, heartwarming experience.
All right, have you had a chance to visit any of them? I don't know if you just arrived, if you've been here for a week.
I'm here for a week. I've seen as many programs as I could get to in a week.
Give me one that highlights that you that you would love that this audience to be aware of? A lot of this audience knows Kollel, knows Michlelet. Tell me something that you would wish our listeners would see firsthand.
Every one of the 1,600 teams that's here is a story.
I know, that's true.
And a
It's
beautiful
so true.
story.
It's so true.
And I wish we could somehow find a way to publish the stories of every one of these kids. But I'll give you two.
Oh, great.
This past week at the Kollel, last year we started a Mechina program within the Kollel. Public school kids embedded within the NCSY Kollel. We had 15 boys in that program last summer. 10 of them were rising seniors, so they just graduated this past June. Of those 10 guys with no background whatsoever who were in the Mechina program last summer, 7 of them come Elul Zman are going to be learning in Israel.
I take it now they know how to read Hebrew. I take it now they know how to read Hebrew.
Now they know how to read Hebrew. 3 of them couldn't read Hebrew when they came. And 7 of them are now going to be learning in Israel next year. We just duplicated that program on the girls' side in Michlelet. We've got 20 girls from public school in Michlelet.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, for the first time this summer. And as much influence as these programs have on these public school teens, that's how much influence the public school teens has on the desire of everyone else to adopt them, to teach them, to embrace them as family. It's such a wonderful, wonderful relationship, and that's really what tonight is all about.
You know what's interesting? This model of NCSY, yeshiva kids playing, meaning the children, the teenagers, playing a major role in the public school youth enjoying the program, which we've seen over the years, over the decades already with NCSY. That's now happening here. I mean, for Michlelet, which I would assume never had public school youth, to now have 20 kids in it. I mean, we're going to approach a time where half the program is public school.
And it's not like they're off to the side.
Right.
They have their
Completely
own
integrated.
classes, but otherwise are fully integrated within the Michlelet experience. They're going on the same trips. They're eating the same meals. They're sleeping in the same dorms. And the bilateral influence that takes place is something absolutely extraordinary.
All right, one of the things you know, and you've been very helpful to us with our Jewish Unity initiative. You know how important tonight is this Yom NCSY for Jewish Unity. If you would take certain stories of different backgrounds, there are kids here who would never, ever interact with each other. And here they are here tonight celebrating, and as you pointed out, in many cases literally being in the same summer program, enjoying this summer. So a big shout out for Jewish Unity tonight, because there is no greater display than this.
Let me tell you a wonderful story.
Sure.
Last week, in the Kollel, in this Mechina program in the Kollel, there were 2 boys who had never put on tefillin before. We gave them both tefillin, and we had a Hanachas tefillin ceremony one morning last week in Beit Meir in the NCSY Kollel. 20 minutes of singing and dancing. It was as if these 2 boys had their entire family there with them at this wonderful event. At the end of the program, one of the 2 young men who put on tefillin, fabulous young man from Houston, Texas, gets up in front of the entire Kollel, hundreds of kids and staff, and he says the following. He says, I was admitted to the University of Texas. That's where I planned on going next year. But I want to come to Israel next year and learn for the year. So I want to ask all of you to do something for me. I want you to all pray for me, because the University of Texas wouldn't give me a deferment to be able to spend the year in Israel. I've filed an appeal of that determination. I'm asking everyone here to pray that that appeal will be granted.
Amazing. Amazing. And we know in our tradition, when one prays for another, it's even more powerful. So look what he's got. He's got the whole Kollel praying.
He's got the whole Kollel praying for him, and now he's got the whole apparatus of OU advocacy that's going to be working to get the University of Texas to allow him to be here next year.
I would think people like you would be quite familiar with these types of procedures, and you would say there is hope, right?
There is hope, and we're going to do everything that we can to pave the way for him to be able to be here. He's one of the finest young men I've ever met. And that's the impact. It's It's one kid at a time. You can talk about having 1,600 kids in summer programs, but 1,600 is 1,600 times.
I didn't realize that that we always discuss a synthesis of your different departments. I didn't realize that OU advocacy would actually have a role in the future of some of these NCSY.
We have very close relationships with Senator Cruz and others within the Texas state government, and we're going to use every means at our disposal to try to get the University of Texas to allow this young man who desperately wants to learn here next year to give him the opportunity to be able to do that.
A lot of organizations are afraid of growth. I pointed out one of the reasons earlier. David Cutler insists that later in this show he's going to announce at least 2 new programs for next summer. Who knows, maybe even more than that. I guess there's really no stopping this summer NCSY train at the moment, huh?
You know, it's not growth for the sake of growth.
Right. Not just for numbers.
What we look at is the condition of American Jewry, the condition of American Jewish teens. And as much as we try to focus on what it is that we've accomplished, we focus a lot more on what it is that we have yet to accomplish. And that means that we need to continue to bring more and more kids in because we see the impact that these programs are having on them. They work. And that imposes a very special obligation on us to try to take in as many kids as we can possibly afford to take and to continue to find creative ways to offer unique programming that meets the needs and the interests of every Jewish kid that's out there.
Unbelievable.
And they all have different aspirations, they have different goals, they have different things that sort of move them. And that's what we're really trying very hard to do, is to find ways to speak to every one of these kids so that they can get the sense of what life is like Jewishly.
Moments ago, we were speaking about the 22 kids that are spending their summer learning life-saving techniques. I mean, kol hakavod to them, but talk about a niche that NCSY was able to provide. Nobody else is doing that for them. They're working alongside professionals in this area and working 24 hours a day when necessary just to experience the whole thing.
And the kids who are on that program probably wouldn't be interested in being on lots of other programs. And there are going to be other kinds of programs that other kids are going to be interested in. And we need to continue to branch out so that we find something that appeals to the intellect and to the heart of every Jewish kid in America.
All right, listen, it's no secret that you help facilitate us to talk about all this and spread the word throughout the Jewish world. I thank you for that. I wish you the biggest mazel tov. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't think of a family celebration that includes 3 screens, fireworks, and 2 major Jewish music stars. So this may be the biggest family celebration we've been to in a long time like this.
Absolutely, and we should continue to celebrate for many years.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. Alan Fagan, everybody, of course. And an amazing and incredible night here with Yome NCSY. What can I tell you? We have been privileged to be part of this amazing and incredible experience so many times, and in this way we get the ability to spread the word and alert you to some of the fantastic and incredible things that are happening on the Jewish youth scene. Eitan Katz, he is part of tonight's program. He's on JM in the AM. JM in the AM, Eitan Katz. He'll be on stage later here at Yome NCSY with Shlomo Katz. Imagine that, the two of them together. Jeremy Goldfeder's here. He's director of Euro Ice, and I would ask him what Euro Ice stands for, but come on, Jeremy, you know it's so obvious to all of our listeners. Why even bother with that? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It is nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
So Euro Ice would indicate to me that there's a European component to this trip. Explain to everybody how it works.
So we start off at JFK, fly into Amsterdam, spend a few days there. Then
you go to the big synagogue, you go to Anne Frank's house?
Yes, do all the right
cool.
sites in Amsterdam. It's amazing.
You see about 4 million bicycles?
We actually took our own bicycle ride.
That's
got to see all the windmills. It was fantastic. After a couple days, we then go to Italy. So we spent Shabbat in Venice, our first Shabbos there. Travel through Italy, then to Slovenia. Which many people wonder why, but it's a beautiful part of Europe where we got to go whitewater rafting, tobogganing, a whole bunch of other outdoor activities. Then we swing back into Italy, go to Rome for another Shabbos. So we're around 12 days in Europe before we go to Israel. So that's the Europe component.
So you just got to Israel? Like, what's going on?
We got to Israel last
before Tisha B'Av.
Right before Tisha B'Av, a couple days before Tisha B'Av.
How many participants do you have on Euro Ice?
We have a full bus, 41 kids, and 10 staff.
Why is this so attractive to them, tell me? Or they just like to travel?
I think most of them came for the Europe experience and the Israel experience. There are other programs from NCSY that offer the Israel component, but the Europe component is really what these teams really
Do you get a lot of returnees, those who've been part of an Israel program but now want to do something different?
We do get a lot of second year that have gone to TJJ, and then they'll come to us. We do have some returnees that have gone for sort of Shana Bet for Euro Ice itself, but I would say 35 of the kids are sort of new to the NCSY program.
You know, earlier in the day, in the night, however you want to refer to the show at this point, so we spoke about the obvious inspiration that Israel gives these teams, the obvious quote-unquote inspiration that teams might get from a trip to Poland. When you're in Amsterdam and in Italy, Slovenia, is there an inspirational component for these youngsters?
Very much so. In every city that we visit, we've gone to, in Florence, it was the most magnificent shul I've ever seen. They got to experience it. We actually got to daven tefillah, and in the great synagogue in Rome, we actually got to daven. So the inspiration from them, for them, comes from what used to be, unfortunately, most of these European cities. Some of them still do have an active synagogues that go on, but it is inspiring for all of them to understand, and that's why we take the trip from Europe through to Israel of what Europe was, what Europe is today, and then they finally touch down at Ben Gurion and really understand what it's like to be in our true homeland. So it is very inspiring.
It's interesting. Again, the Eastern European trip has a certain personality. I think it's obvious to everybody what that is. But what you just pointed out, that a lot of these places used to be bustling Jewish communities, or a lot of these places have a certain attitude toward Jews as they travel through them. All those become part of this whole summer experience.
Very much so. They really get to understand and feeling what it's like to live in Europe today and now be free in Israel. It's a total different experience.
You know, a lot of adults need these trips, you know?
A lot of my friends have told me, Jeremy,
right?
we're jealous of you, we want to come also.
It's, again, you know, one of the things we've been doing all through this show is recognizing the accomplishments of those who led this organization 20, 30, 40 years ago. Today, I mean, obviously they're following in great footsteps, but my gosh, there was no such thing as programming like this back then, and there are people who would really give anything to be part of this and included in their growth experience Jewishly, you know?
For sure.
So it's a different type of thing. What year is this for Euro Ice?
This is, I believe, 15 years old.
Oh, it's a veteran program.
Yes, it's my first year running Euro Ice, but it's a veteran program, yeah. For
You
sure.
enjoying it?
Absolutely. As it says, the best summer ever. It is my best summer ever. My wife is with me on the trip. We are having an unbelievable time.
And before we say goodbye, give me a comment about this. Give me a comment about what you're looking at to your left.
I'm in the event business. This is a part-time thing for me. I've never seen anything like this. Absolutely amazing.
I said it's like a big family simcha, frankly.
Yeah, this is something beyond my expectations, that's for sure.
A pleasure to see you again.
Likewise, thank you.
Jeremy Goldfeder, it's Euro Ice, everybody. Euro Ice. Keep that in mind next time you're looking for a wonderful program for your team during these summer months. We're with NCSY. This is an amazing night. Yome NCSY here in Latrun. You're listening to a Thursday JM in the AM. There are thousands of people dancing in the aisles, enjoying this celebration and having a wonderful time here at Yome NCSY. Rebecca Schragmeyer, is that the right pronunciation? Director of Yad Beyad. Yad Beyad has its own reputation. She started as a Yad Beyad participant. Now she directs the entire program. Welcome to JM in the AM.
Thank you so much for having us. It's a
A
pleasure.
pleasure. Not much I can do about the noise, by the way.
It adds to the environment.
That's true. Explain to my audience what Yad Beyad is.
Thank you for having us.
Sure.
Yad Beyad is Yachad's summer program that takes teenagers with and without disabilities to Israel. We have 4 buses on 2 different trips. We go all over, touring, learning, volunteering, doing all sorts of activities that you would think of when you think of a great trip to Israel, but we just do it in an inclusive way where every single person can participate.
One might think that there are therefore some challenging situations when it comes to your group. Not every part of Israel is built for special needs or special situations. Tell me how you deal with those.
That is a great question. Somebody today said, and I quote from the director of Trip 2, that she's never met a more creative group of staff members in her life. I think that the people involved in the program, the creativity, it's just a part of it because the love is there. And when the love and the want and everyone wanting to just want all their friends to be there and included with it, everything else is secondary. And we do get creative. We bring our participants rappelling and zip lining and rafting and all these things that you may wonder, how does somebody who uses a wheelchair rappel down a mountain? But you know what?
And you ain't kidding about any of it.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
serious.
Exactly.
All right, so we understand the benefit of those teams, advisors who are, in Israel and being inspired by Israel. Give me a moment. Let them finish. But what about the interaction between the teens and counselors and those Yad Beyad participants? Tell me about that dynamic and how it adds a whole other level of growth and leadership to that group.
Great. You are good at your job. You know all the questions.
Thank you.
I want to go home. So I would say, exactly what you said. The relationships and interactions are so multi-directional, and the impact. And when you look at our program, you may think, oh, that's so interesting. They're participants without disabilities, and perhaps they're volunteering for people with disabilities or staff. Maybe they're there for one group more than another group. But it's so far from true on our trips that each of our participants come with so much strength and are impacting each other. And I think that at this point in the summer, that's been the biggest takeaway for the entire group and for our participants, thinking that they were coming maybe even to volunteer when really they've been gaining even more sometimes than a participant who's been with Yachad for years.
I want to tell you what I think of when I think of Yad Beyad, and this is where I think there's an additional component to the growth of a person who's of a typical background. Let's put it that way. There's probably a situation in Yad Beyad this summer where you get somewhere and the wheelchair cannot what's the word? Transverse or can't get through. And I would bet your teens and staff say to each other, hey guys, let's just lift up the wheelchair. Let's just take it, carry it, get it where it needs to go. And I bet small episodes like that have a lot to do with the general attitude that these kids get, not only toward the campers in Yad Beyad, but towards other people in general.
Totally, 100%.
You've seen that happen, right?
This is an everyday occurrence,
Right.
or instead of going that path, they go the other way. Someone brings out their sound system, and there's a dance party in the other direction. The activities can switch in a moment. But it's the group is about having a great time. I think that they're so excited for all the aspects of Israel, the beautiful aspects, and growing their connection to Judaism. But it's really the social elements that stick out the most. And I think that no matter where they're going and how excited they are to be there, them wanting to be with all of their friends and them wanting to be with every single person on the program, not just their small group that they came with. that becomes the most important thing.
You remember your first year?
I do. It was a long time ago.
I'm sure. And now you get to direct everybody. Rebecca Schrag, Mayor, Director of Yad Beyad, which is in, do you know what year Yad Beyad is in? Have any
This
idea?
is the 20th year.
Oh, it is the 20th
This
year.
is my 12th summer.
Wow.
It's an amazing program. It's the start of a journey for many of our participants, myself included, who then continue their relationships with the participants that they meet in the programs for the rest of their lives and continue their involvement with Yachad and the OU for the rest of their lives.
Talk about you. Great having you on. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much.
JM in the AM Thursday. That's right. It's a Thursday morning broadcast here at JM in the AM as we continue. And we have yet another wonderful leader of, I'll tell you. I said this earlier, and I continue to say it. I don't know where they find these people. I don't know where they find all these amazing leaders, all these amazing and incredible people who are leaders at NCSY. Yes, Mary Mullen.
Sometimes they find them in the Presidential Fellowship.
Oh, really? That's great. Look at this. I'm in competition with myself. How do you like that? The Next Step internship program is in its second year. The leader is Malki Hamitz. I hope that's pronounced properly.
It is.
Welcome to JM in the AM.
Thank you.
Tell us what the Next Step internship program is.
So Next Step Israel Internships is a 4.5-week internship-based summer program for teens primarily from the New York, New Jersey area, although we do have teens from all across America and Canada. We place our teens in internships in various fields in the Jerusalem area for 4 days a week, and the other days of the week we're traveling, we're exploring, we're doing more of a classic Israel touring trip. We have teens working in internships in marketing, design, architecture.
You know why we were skeptical when we first heard about this last year? Because we said how many Israeli institutions, organizations, corporate, etc., are going to cooperate with you guys and provide a relatively short internship, 4+ weeks to these students. And yet, look what's happened.
Thank God we've had so much demand. We were actually just checking in with a number of our internship providers this past week just to see how things are going, see how we could best support our teens.
What do they tell you?
And they have glowing feedback, thank God. We have teens who are working on developing an app for basically it's collating and collecting all the various volunteer experiences that people could be involved in the Jerusalem area.
Very nice.
So we have teens who are coding in like 5 different languages I've never even heard of. And the provider is saying, hey, when can you get us some more interns? When are these guys coming back for next summer?
Right, because the big question to everybody who observes this program is how much can you accomplish in 4 weeks? Now you've made it obvious. You could really make a difference, especially when that organizational head or the corporate head is working hand in hand and trying to, utilize the talent that these kids have. How large is the program at this point?
We have 55 teens this summer.
Really?
Last year there were around 30, and the program's basically doubled in size.
I get some of the fun programs why kids want to do it. Internships are not.
Who would have thought?
So you're with me.
As a teen, I never would have wanted to do an internship program.
You're with me on this one.
Exactly.
And this is just going to keep growing?
Keep growing. We had to turn away a number of teens. We just couldn't accommodate for this summer. We wanted to make sure the growth was manageable and wanted to make sure that we got the best internships possible for these teens. And we said, we have to cap it at a certain point, but the demand was through the roof. We're the only high school internship program for high school teens.
Malki Hamitz is with us. Next Step internship program, which continues to grow amazingly, in my opinion. It's just incredible. Where are the kids from? All New York, New Jersey, or other areas, or what?
We have teens from LA, from Northern California, a couple from Canada.
And are you working all year looking for corporate entities and organizations in Israel that will do this with you?
So my husband is the co-director with myself. His name is Tzvi, and we teach in LA full-time. We live in Los Angeles. So we actually hired someone on the ground in Israel to help put together a lot of the internship offerings.
Wow.
So she was working on the ground in Israel as a part-time job, making a lot of new connections, maintaining a lot of the connections from last summer, and making sure that we were placing teens in various positions where they'd be valued and where they would have substantial work to be doing.
What an enormous task.
It really is.
And it's 12 months a year. Because
Yeah.
you don't want to give up a chance to, someone expresses interest in working with you. You can't not give up that opportunity to connect with them and make sure it happens.
Yeah, we have teens in high tech, we have teens in fashion, working on a whole Instagram campaign promoting Modly, this modest fashion and swimwear line. We have teens who are creating, driving sensors, making sure that people are staying awake at the wheel. We have, some really incredible positions. We have teens doing cancer research, high school teens doing cancer research in the lab in Hadassah Hospital.
They understand how unique this is for them, right?
Yeah,
they get
absolutely.
it. Malki Hamet's Next Step Internship Program. It's in second year. Toda Rabah. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
A pleasure. We go to this selection as we've been doing. We've been featuring the Eitan Katz selections here because he's on stage tonight with his brother Shlomo Katz. Here he is at JM in the AM.
Baruch Hu Elokeinu shebra'anu lichvoidoi. Baruch Hu Elokeinu shebra'anu lichvoidoi. Baruch Hu Elokeinu shebra'anu shebranu lichvoidai. V'hivdi lanu min atayim v'nasan lanu taidas emes v'chayei olam v'nata b'soicheinu. Ay v'hivdi lanu min atayim v'nasan lanu taidas emes v'chayei olam v'nata b'soicheinu. Baruch Hu Elokeinu shebranu lichvoidai. 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 V'hivdi lanu min atayim v'nasan lanu taidas emes v'chayei olam v'nata b'soicheinu. Ay 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 v'hivdi lanu min atayim v'nasan lanu taidas emes v'chayei olam v'nata b'soicheinu. Baruch Hu Elokeinu shebranu Branu lich vayn doy baruchu Ay like veinu shem Branu lich vayn doy Hidilanu minatakim Nasalanu toira semes
JM in the AM. Eitan Katz featured the music of Eitan Katz and Shlomo Katz. You know why? They're both performing tonight at Yome NCSY here in Latroon. Thursday morning broadcast, JM in the AM. David Cutler is director of the NCSY summer programs. As I mentioned earlier, there are people who credit him for all of this. He is a little bit more modest than that, won't take all the credit, but no doubt he's enjoying this incredible celebration. I said to some of the people who were with us earlier that I feel I need to wish people like you a mazel tov tonight. It feels like a family simcha, frankly.
Yeah, it's really awesome, Baruch Hashem. I mean, the energy, the enthusiasm, I think this night defines NCSY, the family that we are. One night, everyone under the same roof is awesome.
Do you think about this when you're doing all the paperwork, interviews, planning in November, December, January, etc.?
I don't only think about it, I need it. I spend 5 weeks here in Israel every year, pretty much, every summer, just to shep the nachas and to see what goes on, to go every single banquet, to spend Shabbos with we're going to be in the Old City Friday night with Charlie Harari and 5 of our TJJ buses for a big oneg. I mean, for me, I leave Eretz Yisrael on a high every single summer, and that takes me right back into the year. So I don't only think about it, I need it like you wouldn't believe.
Unbelievable. The whole thing is incredible. Will we get a chance tomorrow night to celebrate TJJ? We'll be able to wish them a big happy 20th.
God willing, yeah.
Tomorrow night? It's a big deal.
It really is. I mean, and you think about it, he started off at one bus of 35 kids 20 years ago. Today we're 13 buses, over 600 kids. I mean, and the future, we're adding at least a couple buses next year. You know, we'll be hopefully, God willing, at least 15 buses next year. And to think about it, tonight there are approximately 1,500 kids here, just teenagers, and almost half of them are public school kids.
That's incredible.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, we figured 40%, which is an insane number.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Hanachat Tefillin celebrations that were going on in Kollel recently?
Unreal. I mean, there are some points over the summer that you just say, this is what we do it for. You know, to see the 3 boys putting on tefillin and the Kollel celebrating it like that, it's hard to put into words. You know, I always encourage people, you know, they like to watch by video, and now everyone's on, you know, their phones and everything. There's nothing like being here. There's nothing like sitting and experiencing the different feelings on the program and experiencing it with the boys and girls, or sometimes the boys. And I always encourage everyone just to try to get here, spend some time with our summer programs, because there's nothing like being with there.
I said this to you earlier. We've almost joked, but we've certainly spoken over the last decade about the continuous addition of programs and trying to fill niches that I never even dreamed had to be met, whether it's surfing, whether it's emergency rescue. I mean, I was shocked to hear your internship program we just learned minutes ago has 55 people in it.
It's unbelievable.
They want to spend their summer as teens interning in the either corporate or organizational world of Israel?
So the idea was we wanted to expand our programming and see who are we not really catering to. You know, so we have sports and we have Tiyulim and we have different things that go on in Israel. But we wanted to get a more studious kid that wanted to build their resume. So we're the first program to have high school collegiates here, you know, high school kids here in Israel doing internships. There are many collegiates doing internships here in Israel, a lot of them. We were the first one to bring high school kids. The first year we got to 31. This year we really had 60 before a couple kind of dropped out at the last minute because their internships didn't come through exactly. But, you know, we ended up with 55 kids who were just having such a great experience, really working with patients, doing research, you know, working with Nefesh B'Nefesh, really unbelievable experiences in there, and when they're not in internships, they're on an NCSY summer program.
Right, and what we said earlier was that, you know, you question what could be accomplished in 4 weeks, and yet they're doing real stuff for 4 weeks.
They really are. They really have a real work day from Sunday through Thursday from 9 to 4, including getting to their internships, and it's unbelievable. You know, it's such a brilliant. And next year, God willing, the plan is for us to go both to Yerushalayim and to Tel Aviv, and to branch out.
Unbelievable. You know, David Cutler's here, of course. This is one of the things. I mean, you have to work 12 months a year at this for obvious reasons. I mentioned, some of the months that you spend remembering the fruits of your labor during the summer. But really, when someone's running an internship program for you, they better be in touch with people in Israel those same 12 months a year. It's really a year-round program because they don't want to give up an opportunity when a corporate entity or an organization expresses an interest in having one of the kids there.
100%. So the addition that we had to the internship program this year is we had somebody on the ground during the year managing the relationships with these internships, and really, just working with them the entire year to create 55 internships is very challenging because, again, they're high school kids and they're there for a few days over the summer, and that's it. So, but they have to understand.
And they're young, as you said. Who's used to taking anybody who's not in college?
They're really used to taking collegiates. So it's an amazing thing. We really appreciate the partnerships that our internships have created. A lot of them actually are here tonight. Some of the internship providers are here tonight because they really believe in what we're doing. And we've made some very nice connections, God willing, for summers ahead. And we're hoping next year to have at least somewhere in the area of 60 to 80. And God willing, perhaps, 3 or 4 buses in the future. So
and those who are getting emergency training, spending time on ambulances, chunks of a time. And I just heard that there was an episode where your guys saved a life.
Yeah, a teenager actually got onto an ambulance and noticed something that one of their paramedics didn't, and it Mama saved somebody's life. I mean, think about that. You go home to your parents and you say, I went up Masada, I went to the Kotel, I saved somebody's life. I'm pretty sure there's nothing that compares to that.
Tell me about Tisha B'Av. So hundreds of people around the world watched what was going on at the Kotel at the end of Tisha B'Av. What was that? Well, I assume you were there, right?
I was there. I'm not going to correct you, I don't mean to, but it was thousands. Our NCSY website crashed. People have to watch on the Facebook feed. For anybody listening, I apologize for that.
Wow.
But it's become, there were well over 1,000 people on site there. Well, it must have been 1,500 too. Unbelievable, the amount of people that just gathered around. And then people watching around the world. I can't tell you how many people are watching. Even without kids on a summer program. They say, someone came over to me, they said they're from Canada. They say they see it every single summer. They have to be here themselves just to see it. Nothing to do with NCSY, but they see our beautiful kumsitz and how we end Tisha B'Av, and they wanted to spend it with us.
Did you see the Yossi Green video?
I did not.
Yossi Green sent out a video that he received from the Kotel of the NCSYers singing his Anavim Anavim. And you could tell how emotional he was watching it just from the way he sent it out to everybody. It was really cool.
Yeah,
very
really word has spread about that kumsitz. It's a wonderful way to end Tisha B'Av. I was talking to my wife last year about, maybe not spending as much time in Eretz Yisrael now with our son Yosef, and it's a little more challenging. And I said, I cannot though imagine ever spending Tisha B'Av back in the United States. I mean, that last hour and a half at the Kotel is unreal. You think about it the entire summer. I mean, someone came over the loudspeaker right after we finished. We think it's Mashiach coming. I think it was some kid lost in the parking lot, which is always very frustrating. But it
was one or the other, Mashiach or a lost kid.
I got to tell you, I was disappointed, but it wouldn't have surprised me if that was the announcement that you sat there. There were literally people just hand in hand standing from all over the world, all walks of life. I felt like I was in like a Karbach, type in, and everybody, or the Kotel on a Friday night, with everyone just sitting there singing together in total unity. It was unbelievable.
All right, David Cutler. It could be a teaser. It could be real information. You have already made a commitment that tonight there'll be an announcement of at least 2 new programs. What can you tell this audience?
So I'll tell you that we have 2 new programs that we're introducing next summer. We are going to expand our horizons literally and physically. We're going to go to Thailand next summer. We're going to have an NCSY summer program that goes to Thailand and Israel for high school kids. And,
Thailand and Israel next year.
We're going to Thailand with an organization called Justify. It's basically an organization that is on service missions, the exotic, beautiful world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has created to experience the beautiful land of Thailand while doing chesed and giving back to the underprivileged people there. And then you come back in Eretz Yisrael, to Eretz Yisrael, and you finish out your summer there in a very meaningful way. So we're expanding. That's one program, which is really
Does it have an official name yet?
Right now it's NCSY Thailand.
Okay.
It's very creative. So it's just...
You had your whole team on that one, huh?
It took me many hours of thought to do that. And the other program is actually, we have 2 programs right now called Give and Give West.
Right.
So we're starting at Give East. And this one, though, the difference with this one is that it's post 7th and 8th graders. And they're basically going to be doing chesed on the East Coast. But we're expanding to before high school, girls who are currently grade 7 and 8. So we want to start really targeting kids already really before they get to high school.
Give has its own brand.
It
Give
does.
really has its own brand at
It's
this
an
point.
exciting, enthusiastic brand of chesed.
Yeah.
That really, it's so catchy, and the girls, they love giving back. And
Very similar to the TJJ umbrella, where
it
it's
really
expanded
is.
by itself.
So it really is. Even the Give program here in Israel expanded to 2 separate buses
Right.
here with 2 separate dates. And then that expanded to Give West, which is on the West Coast. And now we're expanding it to a younger market on the East Coast.
What do you hear about the Give staff here in Israel? You hear good things?
Some of them a little bit better than others.
A little wishy-washy?
Yeah.
David Cutler.
Some of them come from great heritage, and some of them don't, but it's
NCSY Summer Programs. You know how to get in touch to search NCSY Summer. It is remarkable and incredible what they are doing. As I said, a big mazel tov to you, David Cutler. This is like a big family simcha. You know that at the heart of all this is Jewish unity. Attitude toward Israel, which is so important both for yeshiva kids and public school kids, and everybody on their own level studying Torah in whatever way all through the summer. It seems to all culminate in this tonight.
So you'll notice if this is something that I have a good idea very rarely. Tonight my idea was the first song tonight was Am Yisrael Chai.
Right.
Am Yisrael Chai is a song that unifies both our public school clientele and our yeshiva clientele, and it just got everyone into the mood tonight, and it defines who we are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Tonight we're one family, singing together, dancing together, under one roof, and with a lot of bottles of water because of the heat, and it just really got the night off started, really incredibly well, and. That's what we do better than anybody. The interactions between our public school kids and yeshiva kids, and just the yeshiva kids and just the public school kids, and all sorts of connecting to Israel, connecting to Europe, wherever you are. The Kadosh Baruch Hu has made such a beautiful world. In Baltimore, our drama program in Pennsylvania, wherever you are, if you're with the right people and you're learning Torah and you're doing it the right way, then you're accomplishing a lot.
Tomorrow night we'll have a chance to speak more about NCSY summer programs. We will, of course, acknowledge TJJ on this very special summer for them. We'll be meeting for the Friday morning JM and AM at NCSY Kollel, which, some would call, in a way, the epicenter of all the NCSY summer programs. After all, the most Torah-intensive one, I guess, deserves that distinction. And we'll have an opportunity to speak more and more about the present and the future of the NCSY summer
God
programs.
willing. I want you to know it's been such a wonderful thing that you come with us every single summer.
Oh, we are. I am loving
this. You need
this.
to mark your calendars. Wednesday, July 17th is next year's Yom NCSY. And God willing, I won't take the location. We're going to look at it next week, and hopefully it'll be available for us. But it's an exciting location, a little closer to Yerushalayim. And but Wednesday, July 17th, God willing, unless I get fired before then or whatever, is.
I see you're keeping a very positive attitude.
Always. Listen, you never take anything for granted. That's why you gotta party and live it up right now. You got to enjoy the moment.
That's why you're hesitant when all this praise is heaped on you. Huh?
Always, yeah. We don't take praise. We just take accomplishments.
Listen, we have a blast when you're on. Here, it's just so extra special. So thank you so much for being part of this and for inviting us to be part of it.
Thank you. Enjoy. I wish you guys could stay longer, but we'll take good care of you while you're here.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Our Friday JM in the AM, David Cutler hosts us at Beit Meir, where we get an opportunity to enjoy all of the NCSY summer programs by speaking about them. Where? At NCSY Kollel. Miriam Wallach, why don't we start by thanking the person who is the real point person for us for the last few months in terms of Yom NCSY.
It's not Fadita.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Is he mamish here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you not hear the screaming before?
No.
And everyone was startled. I'm like, it's okay. It's only Fadita.
Wow.
No, well, we'd like to thank Amy Moskoff.
She's the best.
She is. Amy!
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 Amy! Amy! Amy!
So we thank Amy for helping us produce this event and for really being part of this entire effort. I mean, this is months. People don't realize it.
No
but,
joke.
The show needs to simmer a little bit before it actually gets on the air. And they do things way in advance. They work with us, and it becomes a really good product before it even starts.
Thank God. Thank God. And it's a pleasure to work with them. They have a great team. This is a week of partners and sponsors who are more like family. It's a real bracha. We thank Amy. We, of course, thank David. We thank Alan. We thank Maish. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of Hakarta Tov to everyone at NCSY. We thank Yoni Pollock, who has done a yeoman's job shooing off.
For those on video.
Right.
I like having fun with
I
Yoni.
know. He's been shooing away the bugs and the...
Was that shooing or chewing?
And the bigger bugs. And it is. And you've done a phenomenal job. This was
Thank you.
this was a
Thank you
this
very,
was
very
an
much.
exhausting program, but an inspiring program.
Should we get him on the air for a minute?
Well, we're gonna. I think the stuff you and he need to talk about
Yeah.
have to come after 9 o'clock.
David Fadida, the brilliant producer, has
Yes.
just shown up at Latrune, where he's probably produced an event or two, I bet.
He's a
been
pretty
around.
talented guy.
He's been around.
Yeah, he's only screaming ZK in the background.
He thinks ZK is either watching or listening.
Yes.
And of course, let's remember, those of you who are going to be, and we keep hearing about more and more people who are going to be joining us Sunday up at HASC.
Correct.
Those of
Oh
you
my
who,
God.
Those of you who want to get a shout out for our HASC show this coming Sunday, very simple. Email Nachum at NachumSegal.com, Nachum, N-A-C-H-U-M, at Nachum Segal, NACHUM-SEGAL.com. And make sure to send it to us with the words shout out HASC in the subject line. On social media, please make sure to like our Nachum Segal Network Facebook page, facebook.com/Nachum Segal Network. On social media, please remember to go to Twitter at Nachum Segal Net. Please remember our Instagram account, Nachum Segal Network. There you'll be able to see great pictures, wonderful stories about everything that's been happening during this short but intense journey to Israel. And don't forget, right after our Thursday JM in the AM, we have amazing programming that will culminate in a live lunch from the Barkan Winery. Are you ready for that tomorrow? Are you ready for the Barkan Winery?
excited.
Thursday at 11 a.m.?
I'm excited.
Friday, from tomorrow night at Beit Meir with NCSY Kollel and the summer programs. And, of course, as we said on Sunday, we'll be at HASC, and I hope everybody will either join us there live on the spot or make sure to be tuned in. That will be our Monday JM in the AM. So this incredible week continues. Again, I mentioned earlier that we are staying at the Inbal Hotel. I want to thank them profusely for the accommodations and hospitality. That's in Jerusalem. Also, I mentioned earlier that we had record-breaking attention for our Nefesh B'Nefesh show. Absolutely record-breaking attention. It is an unbelievable feeling to be recognized and to be this attractive a radio product to those who want to connect with Israel. And Nefesh B'Nefesh, that's what it's all about, and we got an opportunity to do it. Are we wrapping up with a song before we go to our closing? What do you want to do?
Well, my goal was to wrap up the interviews before the Katzes took the stage.
You know who's introducing the Katzes?
I assume it's you.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
3 minutes is all you need?
We're watching the clock.
All he needs is 3 more minutes?
That's it. Watch it. It's 3 minutes to 9.
There have been some remarkable shows here at the Yom NCSY over the years. This is real unique. This is incredible. 2 brothers together, one from the United States, one from Israel, who are going to be performing here tonight. And already we saw this place rock. Imagine what's going to happen when they hit the stage.
It's going to be pretty wild. We were here for the sound check.
Yeah.
It was exciting to be here for that. And, I'm excited for every one of the attendants tonight. They're really in for a special show.
So everybody out there, you'll have an opportunity to see the videos and to experience Yom NCSY and the music that they are going to be presenting, the Katz brothers, here very, very shortly.
Our thanks to Avrami.
A big thank you to Avrami. You know where Avrami is now, right? He's abandoned the United States. He's literally abandoned the US of A.
He's done the right thing.
He and his family are now in Ramat Beit Shemesh. Kudos to him. Big thank you to ZK, of course, who always helps us. And, of course, Yigal, our Chief of Staff, Rabbi Yigal Siegel, who has, again, figured out a way to help us logistically while we're here in Israel.
100%,
so
no
we
joke.
thank him very, very much for that and for all of his help in general. And a big shout-out to our families back in the United States who I hope are enjoying our programming from Israel.
And our families who are here. We both have kids
That's
here tonight.
right. Imagine that. I didn't even see my daughter yet.
She came by.
Oh, did she come by?
Yes. And my son is here. It's a privilege to have family here tonight.
And I don't even realize that my chair is breaking beneath me here.
Yeah,
Imagine
mine
that.
cracked.
Did it crack? What does that say about the quality of chairs in Israel?
I think this chair is fat-shaming me.
Imagine what it's doing to me.
It's all good.
It's frankly giving me a reputation, I can tell you that
It's all good.
much. The Rosa Zadas are here from New Jersey,
Correct.
visiting with their son in NCSY Kola. I want to acknowledge the vice chair. Listen to that.
With amazing songs of inspiration and with the ability to really rock Yom NCSY, the amazing duo of Eitan and Shlomo Katz.
Malcolm, you can't compete with yourself.
You know, it's funny. Now that we're here on the spot, I would do that 100 different ways.
Okay, let's talk about that off the air.
You're going to have a meeting now later tonight.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm thrilled.
You are going to have to meet with me just so I can go through all the differences that I would have had in that announcement now that I've heard it live at NCSY. Acheinu Israel and Achli Bachem, our brothers and sisters in Israel, we are with you. It's your favorite America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listeners-sponsored digital radio around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com, on the Nachum Segal Network, and of course on the beloved NSN app. I thank all of you for tuning in and being part of this amazing and incredible celebration. The first notes of Eitan and Shlomo Katz are being played. We are saying so long from Latrun and Yom NCSY. Thank you, Yoni. Thank you, Miriam Al-Wallach. And we get to wrap up what has been an insanely incredible day for us here in Aretz. Thank you all for tuning in and being part of it. Don't forget, you can be in touch with us on social media, Facebook.com/Nachum Segal Network, on Instagram, of course, and on Twitter. That is that. Have a fabulous Thursday. Tune in later at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for our show from Barkan. And, of course, tomorrow with our NCSY summer programs live. We're almost live from Beit Meir for an Erev Shabbos show from Beit Meir in Israel. Till tomorrow, Nachum Segal reminding you, remember the past, live the present, and trust the future.